It is now 9:01 and we will convene our ARPA workshop meeting. Mr. Evans, our chair, is running a little bit late, if he can even make it at all. And I will now call the meeting to order and ask Mr. Barton if he will lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you once again this morning, Lord, just asking for your blessings upon our life, Lord, upon the citizens in the county, Lord, upon the county, Lord. And Lord, we just pray that your spirit would be within the meeting today, Lord, that you would give an air of peace, Lord, and calming, Lord, as we go through these last requests we have for our ARPA funds, Lord. Lord, we just pray for all those that are here and those that weren't able to make it, Lord. And also we ask a special prayer for our Vice Chair, Miss Peggy. She goes in for surgery next week, Lord. We just pray for a successful surgery and fast healing, Lord. And Lord, it's all these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
If I will stand and Mr. Peters lead us in the
faith flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank Mr. Barton for mentioning me with having my other knee replacement next week, but my most concerns is I have a 37-year-old daughter that has breast cancer, and she starts chemo next week, so that's more on my mind than me. So I appreciate that. Getting started with our ARPA request discussion and consideration, I guess we will let Mr. Barton take over and bring us down through all of these and update us on any new ones that we may have gotten or what.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, public that's here with us. We anticipate this being, one of our last meetings. This is we're in the format of kind of like a workshop. This is a special called meeting so that we can vote on these requests. And the format we've kind of got laid out here today is we have several requests before the board. The county has $774,085 in remaining funds, and we did print some copies and put in the back if anybody wanted a copy to follow along. But unfortunately today we've got requests of $2,225,333.01. So, the requests exceed 3 times available funds that we have, and that's what's on our list, not counting the Sandy Ridge request that came in. And Mr. Boyd is here. We spoke yesterday about a potential project that he has. We don't have a particular dollar amount or request in the packet, but he'll be presenting that as well as we go through these. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the requests in our packet. We did put these in a binder so that you can take out the sheet as we go along. We'll talk about each request. You can make whatever notes that you have, and we'll explain what it is. We'll try to answer any questions you have, and of course we've got members of the public from the different agencies that are here. That are welcome to speak and share what information they have on their request. And then after we've got through everything, then we'll go back and I'm assuming, Madam Chair, that you'll open up the floor for motions, and we'll just kind of start through those. So it's been a long process through these funds. They've been very beneficial to the county. The county got $2.78 million in ARPA funds. A lot of money's been spent. A lot of good things have happened to date. So again, this will pretty well wrap us up, I think, today.
Okay. Okay.
So as we get started, again, we'll go through what's in the binder first, and then we'll look at the Sandy Ridge, and we'll let Mr. Boyd speak. But the first 2 pages in your binder just shows, everything that's been spent to date, everything that's been approved to date, and of course, a lot of those at the end are just encumbered from the last meeting. They, some have been ordered, and some have been paid for, some have not. But that accounts for everything we've done to date. So as we flip over, and again, some of these may have page numbers from the old book. I knew that requests would be coming in. We done this book yesterday. Ms. Reba put it together. We didn't number it because we've changed it 3 times already on that. So we'll just kind of go through from the beginning here. But of course, we still have, this is a carryover request from Dixon County Truck Shop. Of course, at our last meeting, it was approved to purchase a new backhoe for them and a new equipment trailer. We are having to go through a formal procurement on that, so of course, we don't have any updates on that process right now. But at the same time, they had made a request for a mini excavator. Estimated cost based on preliminary estimates was $85,000. That is a piece of equipment that the county does not own right now. When needed, we have borrowed from the PSA before, and we've rented before, and lots of times with smaller jobs, like if it's a drain pipe job or something, it's easier to put the excavator on the trailer and easier to load and unload and just do those small jobs instead of having to tram the backhoe, which is what we do now. We don't have a trailer to haul it on. And of course, since our last meeting, we lost our last Class A driver that we had. So we're talking to our drivers to see if, we can get someone to go on with their CDL and make a Class A. They're all Class B that we have right now. So that, before we do buy the trailer and things, so that we will have somebody that can pull the backhoe, but they could pull an excavator with the pickup with it. So, but that's that request. And again, at any time, just stop and ask any questions that you have. The next request is from the IT department, and of course, last meeting, this is a carryover as well. There's a $10,000 request for the judicial center side of the county and a $10,000 request here. Of course, IT is housed here. The main issue at the judicial center that you approved last month was the cameras and the issues we were having with those. That was the big issue there. Here, they need improvements to the backup systems, which kind of works the whole county, the backup systems, and upgrades their network and security systems. Basically, just more of the infrastructure, the backbone stuff is what they were looking at here, and they put in a request for $10,000. So, moving on, the next request is also a carryover from last time, and last time we just put the request in for software for the county. We hadn't gone through the process of getting any prices. I know there's been several counties within our region that have used our ARPA funds to upgrade their old outdated software. We talked a little bit about this last month, but we did actually get, I did receive 2 quotes back this week. And we're looking at, and of course, if the board approves this, and the process would be, this would be new software for the county as a whole. It would cover everything in the commissioner's office, the treasurer's office, my office, all the payroll, accounts payable, purchase orders, procurement. Basically the software we have now, as Ms. Willis can attest to, it's put in the late 80s. I want to say 1989 is what I was told.
Yeah, that's
I was
about right.
talking with some of the employees that's been here since then, and they were here back before we had any software. And of course, they said it was great, when they first put it in. It's a AS400 based, back in 89. That was, early, we're all used to Windows products now and things, but the software still serves the purpose. You can get through, but it's a long process and a slow process, and we've had a lot of issues, a lot of errors and confusion, and of course, as new people are hired, it makes it more difficult to train. The people that's been here and done it and used to using the old systems, the pre-modern day systems, struggle with that. And of course, as I mentioned before, we have compatibility issues with the other agencies within the county, and the treasurer's office has to rekey everything that comes back in, all the checks, all the payrolls from the schools and DSS, things like that. In looking at this one quote that we received, you're basically looking at a $215,000 cost, which includes your first year service on that. In that quote is what they did. And I will note that the annual service for the newer software that we're looking at is actually cheaper than what we're paying on the Bright right now. We're going to save, it varies sometimes with what issues we have maintaining the AS400, but just if we look at the software subscription to what we have now versus this software subscription, we're saving about $7,500 a year cheaper going with something newer. But then, we've got to maintain the AS400, and there's licenses and costs with that, and then repairs. Of course, we had a hard drive go out recently, which is an expensive repair, but we've got additional costs as well. So, after that initial setup, and of course, it's a learning curve, it's training, it would be different. But at the same time, like with the treasurer's office, right now they can accept payments online. It's just a portal through a third party, and you go in, you put your information, what you're paying, then it all comes to them. They have to process it all by hand, all the paper. They have to actually key in the cards and get everything done and manually put it back in their system. With these newer systems, it'd be a web portal for the residents, the property owners. They go into their portal, pull up their name, they can see their personal property, their real estate, they can pay, by take it from their bank account, pay by credit card, and it's all automated. Whenever that happens, it all goes into the system in the back room. If there's taxes, if there's penalties, interest, anything, that all accrues with it. I've talked with the commissioner's office as far as what they use for the assessment and things. Everything would kind of flow through the same way. The workload would be, it would save us, like with the payroll, it's much more automated as far as it has some time and attendance functions with it. It has an employee self-service module that's built into it. The employees can go in, and see their check stubs at any time. They can reprint their W-2s. And at the same time, this system, of course, has the capability. We did finally get a direct deposit some years back, but still Karen can't email the transmittal. She still has to print out all the transmittals, put them in envelopes, and that's what she's doing this morning, is delivering them out to all the offices. And of course, all your new ones, just send all that out by email and stuff. You know, it saves everybody a lot of time. It brings us to the 21st century, and it eliminates errors. You know, we've had a lot of errors and a lot of issues, you know, trying to keep things straight with this. I got us back in balance when I came to the county. There's still errors that I helped kind of clean up and get fixed and stuff, but we still have them come up all the time. That it takes, you know, me and the treasurer's office working together to go through and try to figure out what happened and what's wrong. With our current system as well, if you need support, you have to send an email in, and they will correspond with you by email. They used to do phone calls and things. Now it's pretty much email. With like with RDA, the system that we quoted here, which you know, we quoted a couple of systems, but this is the same thing that the schools use. So it'd be, you know, intercommunication. It would work together. But like with their support, you know, it's unlimited phone support that you need. You call in if you're working on something. You know, they can help you with it, walk you through it, whatever. I can attest to this one because, you know, that's what we used at the school during the time that I was there. Also, it is cloud-based, so we don't have to maintain a server. And, you know, if an employee, you know, if we were to have a situation like COVID or something in the future, you know, Jeremy was able to open up portals where people could tunnel in from home and get to the system and things. This is cloud-based. You could log in from anywhere with your credentials, and as well, you know, it's even getting to the point, you know, we're still using the big wide format dot matrix printers and things, which the tech guys were telling me they're even hard to come by now, and even the paper, some of the paper that the treasurer's office uses, if they can find it, it's very, very expensive, and they've been buying some from other offices that have converted to newer softwares. They're buying some of their old stock and stuff up. So, you know, it's really, with the ARPA money that we have and stuff, it's really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as we go forward after this money's gone. Looking at it in a regular budget, to be able to pull $200,000 out of a regular budget year is probably never going to happen. And but
I do have a question.
Sure.
Now, you said we'd have to maintain the old one, or would we be able to migrate all the records?
no, this price includes just bringing it,
It'll
brings all the
migrate
data and
over.
brings everything over.
I just want, because you
And of course,
mentioned in
it's-
the very beginning something about having stuff still in this other system.
Right. No, the other one, what it would be, you know, over several months, they would bring one department on at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And
No, that makes sense. That's what
Yeah.
I was,
Last time you were asking for 500,000, now you've
right,
got
I
it
hadn't
down
actually
to
priced anything. I just kind of threw it in.
215,000.
yeah.
That's an actual quote, and of course, I'd have to talk with Will, but there's a Virginia quote out there that they're telling me we can piggyback off of without having to do procurement. But of course, whatever software we went, this is just one option. There's other options I've reached out to. I got pricing on another. It was a little more expensive on the front end, but the annual fee concerned me a little bit. Whatever we did, we would have to work with all offices. It would be a joint venture, and it would take some time, you know, for each office to evaluate and work together as the treasurers and the commissioners in my office, looking at the different software, looking at the prices, doing some demos, and, you know, making a joint. It wouldn't be just one person making a decision. We'd want all offices involved.
Any of this from the offices, the people we met at VACO?
Yes, I did speak with
Yeah,
them at
that's what
VACO,
I
I did. And Scott County's in the middle of a conversion to them as well. They're moving
Yeah.
from, same way we are from our system
what I thought.
to them. Scott County's actually moving to them right now. So,
And the county has done nothing to upgrade their computer programs and all of that since it came on board.
not the county, it's a software provider.
Yeah, okay.
On that. I mean, there's been updates and things as far as along the way, patches and things, but.
Well, I
it
don't mean that,
basically
I mean update the whole system to get up since the original. Oh, okay.
I probably could go in there and get online right now.
You could, and you could pick right back up. I don't know how long you've been retired, but you could pick right back up. It would all look the same and be the
Yeah,
same,
it never did change.
so.
They just did upgrades.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, and that's the thing, they
Okay.
upgrade stuff as you go along, but,
that's probably something that we probably need to consider for the whole county and for our
Yeah.
offices and
Yeah.
stuff. It needs to have a consideration.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it
If it's,
Out of the three that you've listed here, those are all county. This one's the most important, right?
it is the most important
Yeah,
of all
that's
our
what I
county
thought.
requests, in my opinion, but. Moving on, the next one, of course, is a carryover. I almost took this one out, but I thought I would leave it. It's not that big a deal. It would be looking to upgrade again to get everything online for the citizens. Basically, they would have better access to things. And again, Ron, this is from VACO as well. We spoke
Yeah,
to some of
yeah,
those folks.
me
It's
too.
the same folks that do our website and things now. But it codify all of our ordinance and stuff, all the books we have in my office, the white books and the red books.
Automating everything.
It would automate all that and put it all online. That way the citizens would have a database they could search and access everything, and it would all be, you know, numbered. you know, not just that, it would have that, and there's other features and stuff that it has. It's just more of a public portal to put your records out there more so that things are more accessible to the public. And again, we have not quoted this. That's one of them that I just kind of put in there, so.
Okay.
And of course, anything that we do on these, like if we approve any request and we go out and it's not going to work out or it's over budget or whatever, then we always just put that money back in the pot and visit later. We may have another need in ARPA if something don't work out like that. So moving forward, the next one we're getting into sheriff's office requests. We got 3 sheriff's office requests. This also is a carryover. It's $15,191, and it was radios and equipment to enhance and improve communication. This was for radios, repeaters, all new equipment in the latest vehicles that we purchased. I think we bought 3 new Explorers back in November. And in the past, our past history has only been just we reuse all the old radios and stuff, and they've got 10 plus years age on most of them. And with the tower work we were doing and things, working with Tigger and working with the sheriff's office, we felt it was time to start replacing as we go.
So they got something right now, though. They do have radios.
No, this has already been purchased from the general fund. It's kind of outside budget.
Oh, I got you now.
This would reimburse the general fund back.
Yeah, I got
budget
you
on that. But we have already spent this. We're just asking consideration for ARPA to give a little relief on the general because this was outside of what we normally purchase with the cars. But with the commitment, and I do appreciate the board's commitment on the towers and stuff. They are making progress on them still, trying to resolve this radio issue. The sheriff's office was awarded an ARPA grant, and they have requested as a use of part of those funds with radios and things for the remaining cars to try to replace those with that ARPA grant for them and to replace their handhelds. And they're looking, at trying to move again to the modern age with things. We're still running analog systems, and there's a request in here later from 911 that would be a piece that would be needed on the towers if we do convert to digital and to new radios. So, but that's what this one is. It's just the
That 1595.
15.9. Mm-hmm.
191.
Next one, I don't see Chad. Chad come over and met with me on this one. I'll do my best to explain these, and then if anything, any other questions come up, I'm sure Chad will be here by the time we get to the vote. But Chad brought over these 3 requests here, or 2 requests. I'm sorry. Chad brought these requests over. Again, what they're looking at, as I mentioned, they have this ARPA grant that they were awarded, and of course they've asked for permission. They've got quotes on the radios and things and submitted to see if they can get that approved. But with the radios, they're also looking at putting in-car cameras in all of their vehicles. Some of the road deputies have in-car cameras right now. And then they're also looking, the next request we're going to see here is going to be to upgrade their body cams. If you'll remember, we've had some incidents in the past where officers have been out and had situations and they've not had a body cam, and therefore, they get put off. VSP has come in to do an investigation and stuff, and I think for their protection, it's very important to have the body cams. But this first piece here is an on-site server storage, online license key, a body cam transfer station, on-site deployment, training, configuration, and management for body and in-car cameras. The technology that they use now, again, with their in-car cameras and their body cams, Chad was sharing with you, like their body cams, they don't make those anymore, and they can't really get parts for them anymore. They're an internal battery, and whenever they go bad, they've got to contact somebody that actually takes them apart and solders in new batteries and fixes them back. But they've had several that's went bad over the years. They don't have many. I think he said they had about 8 maybe body cams is what they've got for their whole department right now. And if they get the grant, that's going to put the cameras in the cars. And then if they can get more body cams, which is their next request, they will need this server and all this back room stuff that stores all the data. It transfers whenever the cars come in. It'll automatically transfer wirelessly over the Wi-Fi all the data from the car cameras. So
Who will maintain that server?
Jeremy and the guys, because
That's
with this quote,
yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because he didn't give me the supporting documentation. He had all this big paperwork, a big printout. Some of the items in this quote here are some of the servers and some of the storage and things. It was a quote that he got from Motorola, I think it was the provider, but he feels like he's talked to Jeremy. Jeremy maybe will get some of them a little bit cheaper and we can buy from wherever on the pieces to put it together, but Jeremy would maintain those. So that's their first request. Then their next request was going to be to purchase 30 new body cameras with 27 chargers and 27 spare batteries 31-year device licenses and 14 docking stations for in-car systems with 1-year licenses. Again, this is the newer technology that would work with this server because the old ones won't work. They have to run 2 systems to pull things in. But they're asking for body cams. As I said a minute ago, we've only got a handful of body cams. I want to think he said 8 maybe that actually still work that are out there. A lot of those don't have good battery life. And again, with everything going on in today's world and, being a police officer in today's world, I think it's important for their protection to have something. They've asked for 30. The price is $47,798. That's what we've got on our list here. But if you flip the page, there's a second requester that's not on the list. If you couldn't fund 30, he said they're desperate for 12. If they use the old ones they got in 12, and of course that wouldn't give everybody a camera, it wouldn't give the part-time, and it wouldn't give some of the higher positions cameras that's not on the road and stuff all the time. But that was kind of their ask if you couldn't do the 30, which they're hoping for the 30 to fund the 12. So that's why there's 2 there.
So
Moved on to the-
we can get by with 12, but 30 is what they prefer.
30 is preferred, but they could get by with 12. That would get them enough to cover everybody that's on the road and that's in the places that they feel
What
like
page
desperately
were you
need one.
saying that it's on where they said 12?
I'm
It's
sorry.
right behind it.
It's right behind it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I apologize
That
if they're not.
47,798 on
And there's one
back.
for 12 for 16,608. That's like their option
Right.
too. It's
Mr.
not on the
Barton.
list, it's just,
Mr. Barton?
It's behind this one.
Captain Elkins came in while you were
oh, it's in
speaking.
here,
It's in the
okay.
middle
Chad,
break.
you want, before
Okay.
Chair, I tried to
Got
share as best I could as far as where you were with the, try to explain the servers and with the cameras that you might pick up and share some more there.
Yeah, we've been with this company for about 10 years with body cams and in-car systems, which means all of our equipment is at least 10 years old. Like Larry said, they don't produce those body cams anymore. They're not getting any parts for them. We've currently got a few that are out of service. In order to ever move forward, staying with this company, that first quote that Mr. Barton went over, the server with the on-site storage license key, all that's a necessity.
Yeah, and I'm really not alarmed or anything. I was just trying to understand the 12 and that, and he explained it well. But we need to move forward, I don't have, I'm satisfied with the answer they got. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Is body cams assigned to each deputy, or do they pick up a body cam when they're on duty?
The ones that we have now are assigned to a specific deputy. It's got their name on it.
Oh,
It shows
okay.
up on the video. And, we don't have one for everybody. We don't have any pairs in case anybody just goes down. Funding 30 of them would give us enough to give every full-time person a body camera, including the 3 part-time people that work the road the most for us. And then that would give us 3 extras for other part-time people. If they need to pick up one at the office when they work, they can.
Oh,
If
okay.
someone goes down, we have a spare on hand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair and Mr. Barton, may I make a
Yes.
suggestion? I suggest that we go through what we have with people here, and let's thoroughly
That-
ask Mr. Elkins whatever anybody wants to ask him, and then ask him if he wants to be dismissed, or wants to stay, and then let's go to the next, like Mr. Kennedy, for instance, he might need to get back to school, or whatever. Whatever he wants to say or whatever we need to ask him, let's ask him.
We do that.
And let's go through our people that are here and then maybe take a brief break and then we'll come back and vote. Does that sound like a prudent way to do this?
Yes,
That way
perfect.
everybody's not
That's fine.
sitting here all day.
So-
Because we'll probably have a lot of discussion, so. I didn't mean to interrupt Mr. Elkins, but I don't have any questions for him personally. But
I'm good.
does everybody think that's a
Yeah.
good way to do it though? Whoever's here on their request, allow them to speak, let us ask them questions, and then take a little pause, and then come back and we'll
Discuss
talk
everything and then
figure out
vote.
what we want to vote on.
So
Okay.
I don't have nothing else, Mr. Elkins, for you all though.
So we're not
It's a
gonna-
legitimate request.
are you suggesting we don't quit going through all these?
Well, yeah, I get it, but I just thought we might give priority
Jump around
to,
as far as who's here, so.
Yeah.
you know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
That's fine.
And I didn't mean to single Mr. Kennedy out, I just know he might need to get back to
Get back to
school and,
so.
you know what I'm saying? These
Right.
these guys that
That's a
actually
good
have
idea.
jobs.
Let's get back. Item 12.
And, all right, thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
I don't see anybody here from the
Thank
PSA. I think they're next on the list. We'll skip that. Dana, I think you do have a meeting at 10. Do you want to go ahead?
Mr. Martin, I can speak some for
Okay,
PSA.
sure.
PSA, you know, we've got the water issue with sewer down at Highside. And as you know, we voted out the other night to do that rehab over at Red Onion.
Right,
And that took a lot of our funding that we normally have.
right.
And at our board meeting, we suggested that he apply to try to get us some more funding to work on that Hayside sewer.
Right, and I think this one was going from New People's Bank to the Hayside Sewer Treatment Plant to finish out that
Right,
line replacement that y'all been working on, so.
We'd already given $150,000 for that, haven't we?
We give 125 for it, so.
125. Has that been spent, or?
It says in
No, I
here,
think we were holding it ready to get some more funding to go with it.
it said the total cost of the project is projected to be $1.8 million. It says we give 125,000 towards it. But the 125,000 that we had, I'd have to pull the
We haven't-
actual
we haven't
request,
spent
but
it,
it was
I don't
asked
think.
for I&I for the Hayside sewer system and the Red Onion sewer system. So y'all got a big issue with I&I and Red Onion too,
Right.
so.
You have to get this spent by a certain date too.
Yep, December of 31st, 2024, so. All right, any other questions on PSA?
So we had give them $125,000 of
We
ARPA
have.
fund.
All right, you want Danny to go ahead and go since you've got to leave for a meeting at 10?
Yeah, let's-
Sure, thank you. The IDA has two different requests, for this, ARPA workshop, one of which is for a $5,000, allocation for scholarships for different entrepreneurial, training that is operated either at the regional level or state level. If you all recall, a couple of months ago, we did talk about this in one of my economic development updates to be able to give local citizens and entrepreneurs an opportunity to attend these different trainings and seminars and programs. We do currently have one person, Dora Wallace, who is participating in the Gauntlet program, which is operated from a state level. And at the completion of several weeks of training and different tasks that you have to complete, there is an opportunity to compete for a large sum of money for a grant. So again, the $5,000 would be able to create that scholarship program for future participation in those types of programs. The other request that I've made is for $50,000 to be allocated for a small business and entrepreneurial challenge. We've talked about this pretty much since I started with the county. However, at this time, we're still working out the details of what would be the best way to do that. But I respectfully request the $50,000 to be allocated for that use, and then we'll work out the details as far as how this board and the IDA thinks would be the best way to utilize the money. But those funds would go directly to citizens of Dickinson County who are looking to open a business in the county.
So the IDA don't have the money to do this?
We do not.
Well, I'll be blunt with you, Ms. Cronkite, I appreciate the application, but me personally, with all these other requests with different communities, community organizations, I'm not gonna be inclined to support that. Personally, I'm not gonna vote for $50,000. So we can sit here and I'm just not gonna waste your time.
No, that's fine. I
Asking you
completely
questions.
understand.
I'm not voting for $50,000 for that, so we got so many other things. And yeah, that's just me.
Right.
I'm gonna be a no on
So
that.
IDA does not have, do they have, how much money that,
Well, we're still currently working through some of our accounting, to
that
determine
we're
what we
working
may
through.
have available
Well,
that we
there's
can
that,
use,
too.
but we have not determined that at this time. But I can tell you that presently, the IDA does not have any revenue being generated. So the funding that we do have, we need to be very careful in how.
The hospital's not paying anymore?
Those funds actually go back to VCTA. So any of the current funding that the current payments that we receive gets paid back out to either VCTA or VSBFA.
Thought there was a $300,000 CD that was uncovered or an account.
No, they do have money, and right now, some of that money's been tied up paying towards the rehab project until we get the reimbursement.
Well, I'm not
stuff
trying,
going
I'm just saying with all these other entities here asking and needs, I'm not And it's nothing against anybody, I'm just
No,
saying.
I completely
just to-
understand.
Just to alleviate any waste of time, I'm not voting for it, me myself.
All right. So, moving on, do we have anybody from 911 here that wants to speak? I know Peter sent this request, we can come back to it.
Chad, do you want to speak on that? Okay.
We'll skip that one and come back to it. We have Clintwood Fire Department, we have some different requests. We have the bottles for the ladder truck, the mini pumper truck, and the Caney Ridge Station, so whoever might want to
Robert, you or Ben want to start? Go ahead, Ben, and then we'll get into that, because that might take a minute anyway, so you go ahead.
I'll stay as long as I can today, because I do have to get back. I took half a day off this morning so I could be here. But my name's Ben Kennedy, and I recently joined the Clintwood Fire Department in August, and me and Clayton, my son, we live on Caney Ridge, and we're based out of the Station 2 department up there, and I just wanted to give you a brief little history about Station 2. Some of you may not realize, but in 1990, Station 2 was developed on Caney Ridge to allow the residents of that community to be able to purchase affordable fire insurance. Before this time, many could not get fire insurance, or it was too expensive for people to afford. I know Dad said his insurance was canceled at one point because of being so far from a fire station. Station 2 was originally built by community volunteers, fundraisers, and some help from the county. The land was sold to the department for the amount of $1 by Wade Scott, who was my papa. I think the first fire truck was an early 50s model Ford. Over the years, most of our founding members have left except for Philip Jones, who has been instrumental in keeping the station in operation over the last several years. Philip couldn't be here today. He wanted to be, but he had some training he had to go to. We now have Philip, Pruitt Baker, Brian Blevins, Clayton Hickman, and myself, who are based from the Station 2 on Caney Ridge, but we still help throughout all of the Clintwood Fire Department call areas. And from the best of my knowledge, the county has not directly given or been asked to give any funding directly to Station 2 since its initial start. The reason we're looking into getting a new building, or would like to, and Clayton, he's kind of the one that initiated this. He asked in a business meeting one night, and if we could kind of look into getting a new building, is our truck, it's a good truck that was donated or sent up from this Clintwood station after they got the ladder truck last year. And it will barely fit in the building we have now. Like the Miss Willis and Mr. Barton both come up and met with us one day, and
A couple inches in the front, couple inches in
the
the back is
back
all
is
there is.
touching the wall. The ladder's physically touching the wall, and there's about that much room between the front and the door. And then when you open your side compartments, you can't get through there around the truck or anything. And if you go in the building, the only way to get to the driver's side of the truck is crawl across it or open the bay door to go around. But I've looked at several different options as far as adding on metal carport style garages and post steel buildings. And my recommendation is a post steel building, and I have 3 quoted here. One is kind of my preference. Do y'all want me to kind of cover
Yeah.
all 3, or just go to the one that?
Go to the one you think's your preference.
Okay.
Well, that's,
I know your preference is probably the higher one, if you
No,
want
it's
to.
not.
Okay, all right. Yeah, do the preference.
The
then.
highest one was 120,000, and this one's about 61 overall. So, but what it is I had Wise Glass quote post steel building. They will do the building itself, which is a 30 by 40 by 14 foot tall building, 3 inches of insulation. They'll do a walk-through side door, 2 12-foot garage doors with electric motors. And this building will also have overhanging eaves, which will make it look nicer, I think, a better appearance, and also protect the walls and the foundation around it, and will include 6 inches of concrete. And that total was $49,125.98, and that gives you the building and the floor and insulation. I also added in I got a quote on the demolition of the building and removing the existing slab and 2 loads of gravel that from HAS excavation, and that would be $3,700. That's for the demolition and the gravel for the new pad foundation. Electrical to get it wired and everything is $5,816. The lighting fixtures, that's some that I priced off of Amazon, because I have some similar to this in my shop at home, and I feel like they do a good job. They're $600, right at $700, $699.98. And heaters, I quoted also off of Amazon. That's something that if need be, we might could install ourselves. And we're not really set on what type of heater would be good for that building yet. But that's $1,843, and it does not include any of the copper tubing or installation on those, and that's something we may have to hire out depending on what is done. So the total of that $61,185.41. My original request was for $75,000, up to $75,000. And I would still like for you to consider that amount because we're going to run into unexpected costs. These maybe some price changes on this stuff.
Now being, I said now being.
Only, 14 days on a quote, that's the best you can get. And, well, we have to figure in building permit, EP, disconnect fee, reconnect, and.
Where'd you come to 120,000 then?
Well,
That's the quote you told me not to go over.
So your quote, your best is 61,000?
no, 75 is what he's asking.
You're
I'm asking for 75, that will allow us a little bit of cushion, up to,
It'll
I'm
be
talking
a-
about up to.
It would be a
I'm just
spin
pulling it
down,
up.
wouldn't it?
Are you gonna put a bathroom up there or not?
It would be
I
a
don't believe we
spin
have
down.
room
It
for
would
a
be a spin
septic
down.
system.
Load out
ma'am.
75.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
they
Over the
Yeah.
hill behind the building. How far do you own behind the building?
It's
They figured it
maybe
out,
20 feet extra behind, 30 behind the building.
They've got enough room to
Yeah,
do
they've
that.
got
I don't know
sufficient
how
room.
septic, I mean, we could look,
Well,
I would like to
I'm
have
just
a
saying, I
bathroom.
would have it evaluated, because it looks like you would need a
Yeah.
bathroom, one
Yeah.
stall anyway.
Yeah.
Piece.
But some of that stuff,
Possibility, if
Probably about
I
halfway
were doing it, I would
Yeah.
go real lenient on it,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing it no more, but
it
anyway.
would be nice, maybe you can
Cause
give a
you don't use
recommendation
it
for
that
that.
much.
There are a lot, but I can't.
But it's,
I
you
just
know,
can't
that's
place
some
it.
things we can add later. My thing is, I don't wanna get part of the way through the building and that's not be able to get it finished, run out of money or something.
How is this cheaper than what your other, things are?
One of them, the one on the front from Ball Construction, it was $120,800. They priced doing a complete building. They would do the wiring, basically, there wouldn't be any other contractors involved. And then, other than the demolition, so you'd still have to add $3,700 for the demolition and the site preparation on that one. So that one I pretty well ruled out. The next one was through White's Construction. They do a lot of buildings, and you can basically just get a general quote from them. It was about $900 and some less, but that was only for 4 inches of concrete and not 6, and it did not include electric garage door openers. So by the time you add that in, that option would be more than the Wise Glass quote.
I don't have any questions, Ben.
I think you prepared very
Good
I
good.
know you will be conservative with the money and build it as lean as possible, and I trust you all very much. My intent's to vote for this.
So
I
you can
appreciate
get your fire truck in this, right?
Yeah, and have an extra bay because we do have, Philip keeps a Tahoe support vehicle at his house because we can't leave it outside out there.
Philip Stanley?
Jones,
Jones.
Philip
He's
Jones.
around Rachel Chapel.
Yeah, he's been
They've done that
for a long time. Philip, his son
Give you
did
2
for-
bays.
Yeah, this will give us 2 bays, and then that way if the Clintwood Station gets another truck or something, maybe we could move another
You can
apparatus
still
up
get
there.
out of the truck and move
And we
around
can
it.
still get out of the truck and move around.
Right now, with their current station, there's no room to do
They
anything in
can't do
there.
that now.
We were good with this last time. We just
Yeah, we
wanted
just
to
need some
quote.
details.
Yeah.
But my hopes is it had got down to kind of where it's basically Philip running it. And I would, I'm hoping with a newer building with more space and things, it might encourage some new membership and maybe retain current members a little better, so that's kind of, anybody else got anything?
No, we appreciate you all.
How much of the pavement that I put up there, are you gonna leave that, or will
Yeah,
part of that have to
the
come up?
front of the building, I won't probably have to remove about a foot of it, just to kind of square everything off, but the front of the building will stay about where the existing building is.
But the side, where the pavement's on the side?
There's
of
not
the
any pavement on the side, it's gravel.
Okay, I just did the
Yeah.
front of the building,
Yeah,
right,
just
yeah.
right in front.
You'll get it done before hay season?
I don't know. That's why I was hoping this one was gonna work out where they take care of
Well, what's
it.
he
Plowing
gonna
all the time now.
We'll figure it out.
do? I know you will. See you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate you all.
Okay, this is on the bottles, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're right.
We have the bottles and the mini pumper. We have two.
Okay, when we got the new ladder truck, we just didn't have enough bottles to put on. It goes to our air packs, and that's what we need to just get it up to par.
Yeah, I think there was a question on this from the last meeting.
With the ladder truck,
I gotta
What's
find
that?
it first.
with the ladder truck,
Yeah. Wasn't there something with, is that, I don't remember, it was something to do with operations of it and stuff, is everything good?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
We got all the
training some of the
repairs.
people, weren't you? You had some, that went through training to operate it and things.
Yeah,
so-
excuse me.
Hope it
The
ain't
reason
no
I'm
fire
asking that,
alarm.
because there was a question that we, otherwise we'd approved it last time.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on just stuff that had to be done to it.
Is this on that 9800?
We got it all
that he's
fixed
talking
and it's
about?
running perfect.
yes.
We had a
That
electrical
answers
problem.
it, that's what I was looking for, because we would've, you weren't here unfortunately the last meeting, and there was a question about it. Otherwise, I think we'd approved it then.
Yeah, there's this electrical problem, and we had to get somebody that knows what to do it, and it just took time to trace it out, and we finally got it traced, and we got it fixed.
Good.
That's
Okay.
9865, 9865.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Number 12, request number 12.
I don't have any questions. That's what
Mini pumper as well.
Okay, we've been finding, in the last few fires that we've had up in the mountains, that we have nothing that can get to it. Especially if you go up, in some of our places on 72. We had one house that had a smoke problem. It was a heat pump, and we could barely get our pickup up there. So we need something that is reliable to get up there and get to these places that are hard. That's not the only place we have. Up Crabtree Holler, if any of you been up Crabtree Holler, you get to the far end and it's completely different because the state doesn't maintain the roads. They're more or less considered driveways, I believe. We just had a hard time. It was a hard time for our pickup, but we made it. But we can't take none of the trucks that we have now because going up there, you would wrench them in half. You bend the frames. They're just not, can't do it. You know.
How many trucks does this make that we need to get?
We've got several. They need that. Hayside needs, Clinchco needs a tanker, Sandy Ridge needs a tanker, and Hayside needs
So
an
it's
engine.
4 trucks.
So we appreciate anything you get or help us with.
So these
And-
trucks cost $310,
Ten.
$310,000?
Yes, it does. That includes about everything that we need. We have the hose and everything for it. This is just for the mini pumper that we be able to get in these
Is a
hard parts.
new one or a used one?
That's a brand new one. We've had, spend the money like we got the ladder truck where we were fortunate to get. But it's still, it's costing us money to get it fixed and get things put on it that has to have. We finally got it all equipped. We got the repairs done. We got the pump and everything working good. And every year we go a pump test, and every year we have maintenance. Maintenance is getting ready to start, and the pump test is getting ready to start. And we have a ladder inspection that we have to do on this year. So it's just an ongoing thing with when you start getting these ladder trucks and pumps, there's money has to be spent.
Any other questions for Robert?
I don't.
Thank you.
I appreciate your
Yep.
help and all the things you've done for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate everything you all do. Is that all the Clintwood Fire Department requests, Mr. Stanley? Is there anybody else?
Is this the 3?
It is, that's what we had.
Okay. Mr. Mullins, do you have something for Clintco?
comes right after the Clintwood there in this packet.
I've asked for $1,783.56 for repairs, emergency repairs done to our two engines. We've had, as you can see on those invoices, it's basically not the parts that's costing, it's the dollar amount on for the mechanic.
$90 an hour, isn't it?
It's $90 an hour for a mechanic, and they have to be certified through emergency vehicles to be able to work on the trucks. So if it wasn't for that, we would take it to the county shop.
Yes. $38 in parts and
Yeah.
almost $1,300 in labor.
So we've had repairs on our tanker, which we've paid for out of our pocket. We've had bottle tests, pack tests, pump tests that we all pay for out of pocket, which you all supply the money for. But this here is more than what we have in our budget, so that's, and it was necessities that had to be done because the trucks couldn't be pumped.
Sounds good. Any other
I
questions?
don't have any. Yeah, I think I'm fine with it. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks, Mr. Mullin. Sandy Ridge, you all go ahead.
It's separate from the packet. You left it on your desk there, the Sandy Ridge request.
How do we get this?
I don't have it, Larry. If I do, I'll just-
Yeah,
It's
he
right
he
here.
passed them all.
Pass mine
He
to
laid it
Josh,
on
you
there
have
for
yours.
us.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Okay,
It's laid on your
Well,
desk.
I'm trying to
give you
understand. Where are they on the list?
You
I know
need
this one.
one.
It's all right, it's no big deal, go ahead.
At the first ARPA meeting, I originally had asked for $11,000 to purchase 10 air tanks, which were Scott's. And we looked and looked and looked, and to get the closest thing on the Scott's was going to be an increase of like 14,000 altogether for the 10. So then we started searching. We had, I'm not sure if y'all know Mike Montgomery, and I don't mean to stand up here and take a lot of your time either. And first of all, before I go any further, Ms. Kaiser, I'm sorry to hear about your daughter, and I hope everything goes good for you.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the meeting on, you had agreed to give us $11,000 to purchase the Scott air tanks with. As I said before, there was an increase. It went over 14,000. I had sent something to Larry on that, I believe. Okay, then Mike Montgomery come up and did a presentation on the MSAs. And at that time, we were trying to get 15 air packs and air tanks. Okay, that total, which you might have a copy of that, comes to $121,068.70. So I went back, and that's the purpose of the handout that I gave you, is we're gonna go back to 10 SCBA packs, which would drop that down. The overall cost on that would be about $73,900, which is $74,000. Okay. That being said, I also talked to one of the board members at Wise County, and I'm presenting this because that's the handout that I gave you is supposed to be a critical needs list that the administrator asked for from all the chiefs at Wise County. And they haven't got this yet because you have to be careful who you give information to because it don't necessarily all the time end up in the board members' hands. And so I haven't been able to pass that on to them yet, but I'm going to try to do that today. And that being said, I also talked to our CPA, David Cox, and he's pretty well covered up with this taxes now. Okay, he hasn't been able, our tax exempt has expired, and he was working on it. He's had that information for over a month. But he said he wouldn't be able to get that done until after April the 18th. He said what I should do is ask if the county, because you're tax exempt, could possibly purchase the 10 packs, and then we would reimburse
the cost, the extra cost. In other words, if you're still giving 11,000 or possibly more, then the fire department would be liable for the rest of it, and hopefully Wise County would kick in some to help us with that. That's not a guarantee. I also have a copy of where the increase was on the 14,590 on those Scott tanks. The packs that we're asking for are 1-year-old demonstrators. They still have a 15-year warranty on them. And they're the G1s. There's top-of-the-line packs that'll carry our department forward for a good 15 years and hopefully longer. Right now, we're down to 6 usable packs, and they're dropping off because we can't get parts from Honeywell to replace, to fix the parts that's going bad. So we're in a spot there, and I don't know if the county would consider doing that. It's just something. We're also going to get a break on the old packs that we have that we turn into Whitmer, possibly $3,000 to $4,000 a discount on that by turning in those old packs. So hopefully we can get this. I could get it down to where we could manage it pretty good. But the fire department would be and would take care of any remainder that would go back to the county. I'm not sure what we would get from Wise County, if anything, but we're still going to pay the county back if you decide that you could purchase these 10 packs.
So how much do you need totally, Roy?
Well,
We approved 11,000 last meeting, and of course, the price went up on those. We've got 11 kind of sitting there approved towards this project, so we'll need how much additional?
They cost
62.
14, right?
62,000 more.
How much do you need to, are you saying if we give you this money, you want to pay the county back the money?
well, if the county's still going to go 11,000 or more.
11,000, 14, you say it costs.
Right. Okay, if you're still going to do that, then that'll drop us down under the 73.9. And then if Wise County kicks in some, we'll be able to apply that to it. That's the question there is if you do it, they might do it. If you don't do it, they're not going to do it. That's.
Boy, don't you
I
all do
understand.
about as many in Wise County as you do Dickinson?
No.
As many calls, or do
No,
you
our
do
coverage
more?
area is more in Dickinson County, considerably more.
62.9, is that what they need?
Does Wise
Peggy?
County give y'all anything,
62.9.
to help
Yeah,
you?
that's what I.
Yeah.
They do.
That's the total.
Once
But have they give you any other ARPA funds?
they give it, no.
They haven't given you any other ARPA funds?
No, the only ARPA funds that they gave us was back when you all first gave us some, and they went in $8,000 when we purchased that washer and dryer. And that was on the COVID money, on the $25,000 that I signed for, that was given to us. They agreed to go 8 on that, which that helped us get, that washer and dryer system. They're more reluctant to help us in any greater degree because they say we're not located in Wise County.
Too far, half of Sandy Ridge is about in Wise County.
I thought it
Yeah,
is.
we're kind of like half and half.
Sandy Ridge now is different than Dr. Ralph Stanley Highway.
Yeah, if
Sandy
you
Ridge
go,
is
if
a
you go
road
up Sandy
they
Ridge
said.
Road,
Right. And
The
Well,
left
turn
side
left
is-
there to that grocery store and go, that's
Yeah.
on out through there, it's mostly Wise
The,
County.
That's
the
Wise
left-hand
County.
side is Dickinson, the
The
right-hand
left
side is
Dixon, the
Wise.
right Wise, but,
but that's, and there was even a question asked to me of who actually said, because you're not located in Wise County, we're not going to give you any additional funding. Well, I told him point blank, as I wasn't going to tell him that, but it come out of his office. So, I mean,
Roy?
that narrows it down pretty good.
Is there any grants that we can apply for these bottles? Because it seems like we've gotten some of them with grant money in the past. I'm just asking.
There are grants we can apply for, but the deal with these demos is once the payment is made, we get them in a week. Ready to go, ready to work. The grants, it takes time, and then you gotta make your order, and that takes more time. It's 3 months out on almost everything. The Scott tanks by themselves was 3 months away. So that's, you're still in a waiting process to use something that you need to use today or tomorrow.
What is the grant window? Is there a time frame that it,
Well, we're looking at doing, we were considering doing a grant, and we're still, I think all the departments are gathering information for that.
yeah. Okay.
So that's coming up. That would be the fall.
That's why I asked. I thought it was out there a ways.
Right,
And you're getting to a critical time right now.
right.
We're averaging a pack going down every 3 months.
Yeah,
That's what we're averaging. Yeah, pretty right.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
these-
understand.
The
That's
packs that we
I just
have,
wanted to clarify.
they're fading fast. So, I mean, we can use them as trade-ins. And like I said, we could, Mike said that we possibly could get maybe $3,000 to $4,000 off on the trade-ins. And that's not a guarantee, it's just
What do they do with those old packs? Do they?
the old packs.
Yeah, they refurbish them or something?
I'm not sure it depends on, some of them, they may try to refurbish and then sell them again.
I'm
Because
a
they're,
little bit confused on what a pack is. Does each member have to have one?
no, and each member don't have one now.
So you said something about 6.
Yeah, if we could have
Go
10,
ahead, Robert,
Robert,
Squirrel. Do what?
When Honeywell went busted, all right, they were a manufacturer of their own parts. Okay, they are out of business. So there is no parts. There is no parts, you can't get them nowhere.
Right.
If you have them, there's somebody that's got some on the shelf somewhere at like ES or something like that has got, was the dealer for them. But when those parts are gone, it's done.
it's done.
You can't, that's the problem with a lot of stuff that you get with fire trucks and everything. They're in business today, and they may be in business for 4 or 5 years, but after that, they may be gone. For example, when we bought our steel truck that you all got for us, we never thought, because they were one of the leading seller of fire trucks, that they would be bought up and the steel line gone. But fortunately, most of that parts are still manufactured, because it's a universal part deal. But these air packs, they're not.
yeah.
They're very specific, because each one of them have their own design on the bottle's the same probably, but the intricate parts of the air pack itself is different.
See, that's the thing about going with the MSAs. It puts us in a position to where we can work with each department. If we're out on a bigger scene, then our stuff works with their stuff works with our stuff. And as it is right now, nobody's got the air packs that we have. And we're not gonna have them for long, because they're gonna go out. And so that puts us in a little bit of a bind. I mean, it keeps, we can't use, if we don't have them, we can't put anybody in a building, structure fire at all. It's just impossible, unless one of the other departments is there and they let us borrow one of theirs,
How many packs y'all got, Robert? When
20
is
or
it?
so. You got one for, you have, by the standards, you're supposed to have one for every riding position on your truck.
So you're asking for 10?
I'm asking for 10 because that's a critical needs list. If I can get 10, I've got enough for us to make entry safely to take care of our people.
What's the price on 10 of them?
The price on 10 of them, the MSAs is $73,950.
Day.
Yeah,
But he says we have a-
because we've already given
62.
them
We've already allotted
Well, it still ain't no
11,000
better.
at 62.
Well, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
God, I'm out of it.
63,000.
Pardon?
63,000 is what you're asking.
That's why.
It'd be-
we really
yeah,
need to
63.
Casino one.
62.
62,900.
And how many operable ones you have right now?
we're down to 6. And like you said before, we've got one that's questionable, so that puts us down to 5. But once it goes out, it's done. You just need to set it over in the corner and get it out of the way, because you can't use it.
How many active members do you have? That run?
Active members?
Yes, and by active, I mean, how many on average come out when there's a call? How many men or women?
6 to 10.
Yeah, at least.
So really, you just need about 5 or 6. I mean, are 10 people going into a burning house?
It depends. If we have a pack that goes
And
down.
I'm just trying to be realistic.
I know,
We
but
have.
What I'm saying is, if you
We
have a
have
pack that goes.
$2.2 million in requests, and we've got $700,000. So we've got to whittle this way. I already told our IDA director no, and that was
Right.
it. And I'm just trying to,
And that was
All
your,
I'm
that's something you
asking
wanted to
is-
do.
and that's something I wanted to do, but there's just no way. You all are the priority with this money, but I'm just not so sure we can keep doing, if we keep doing 70,000 a hit, we're not gonna get anybody nothing.
Right.
So I'm just being, and I'm not trying to be arguing.
Could you
I'm
get
just
by
asking-
with,
It says he's got 5
I'm just
at work.
asking to do what you can.
you got 5 at work, could you give 5, would 5 more help you?
5 more would help, but then we've got mixed, matched gear.
Ooh, it's also complicated.
Yeah, and I've had people contacting me to try to do all we can to help support the Sandy Ridge Fire Department and Rescue due to Mine 44 being up on Open Fork and another mine possibly going to go in
Well,
or
you've got
something.
44 and 41, Clinchco covers 44
Yeah.
or 41, and we also back them up on that. At one time, we were primary on 41.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well,
if
see,
you had to go-
41
I'm
is in
sorry, Ms.
McClure and 44 is up there before you get to the
I don't
old
think they'd be
Irvington
going
High
to
School.
my
So that is
Right.
basically right in your back door to shoot down the 44
So if you had to
line.
go into I didn't mean to
That's okay.
speak over you. If you had to go into a mine, you would wear the pack or?
We don't go into
You're not
mines.
They
going
wouldn't
in the
go
mine,
inside
they
the
got
mine.
rescue teams.
We have
So
everything outside.
what's the point of making that, I mean, because they're not going into mines, they got rescue teams. that
It's
goes
to
in
go
mines.
into a house fire.
Right.
You're not gonna have a house fire at mines. You
Just
gotta have
house
a.
fires
Like,
and
yeah, I know
motor
what you-
vehicle
I was talking to you.
Pardon me?
I know
Yeah.
what you meant.
It's not just house fires, it's also motor vehicle
So
accidents.
how much is it per pack, sir? 10 is 60,000, or 10 is 70,000, so what's that?
See, the other thing,
$395.
the other thing that
7,300
needs to
per.
be clarified here is, when they respond to the fire, they put the
We
gear
need about
on.
another
and it could be-
25,000 to get that.
You don't know who may end up in the
On top of
position
that
where they have to
plate,
go.
Oh, I
in.
know that. That's,
Yeah.
Well,
so that-
instead of mines, you're gonna
Get
go
five.
So that'd
to
be- the
either
five would be
the
36.
office fire
That's
or a
roughly
vehicle
25,000
fire,
more than
right?
we need.
You ain't gonna
Initial
run the
labor we
mine,
already got.
so.
I mean, if we have, well, we've had 2 tractor and trailers burned down on the mountain up there. You can't just go up there. I mean, once those things catch on fire, whoever's got that nozzle in their hand and whoever's backing them up should have on air pack. Whoever's on the.
well, I'll be honest with you, we're gonna vote after a while. I'm speaking just to be transparent as how I'm gonna vote. I would vote for 5 of these. That cuts it in half, but I can't see appropriating me voting 60,000. I can see doing 36.5. That's what I intend to vote for. Myself.
Well, I
That's me.
appreciate that. I mean, and like I said, I'm just asking for the help that whatever you think you can give.
Robert, you said you had 20-some packs, right?
Huh?
You said you had 20-some packs, air packs?
They
How
got
many-
about triple the membership though.
How many go out on fire in your,
All depends what it is and when it is.
well, he gave an estimate,
thing-
6 to
one-
10.
One
Is that
thing
about
to
right for
remember,
you?
Daytime help
They have a little bit
on
more.
fire departments is, if you have something big, I'm gonna use the word great, that's what we're gonna holler, because we need everybody.
Absolutely.
Go to the
Everybody's
school.
gonna have to be self-sufficient in everything they do. Yeah, we got 20 air packs, but we also got 20 members, or we have had 16 people show up on call. Not everybody wears an air pack like me. I'm almost 70 years old. I don't imagine myself getting in a burning building. But I do support help. I drive, I pump.
Well, that's not what we're trying to just get is to the nuts and bolts of these packs, not Not the effort you men and women put in, not the
So-
time you put in, just I'm trying to narrow this on the need for this pack.
Everybody goes
Okay,
fire,
so
don't
let
need
me,
our
let me explain a little further on that packs. I'm asking for 10.
And I'm saying I'm gonna vote
And
to
you're
give
gonna
you
go for
5.
five.
Me, but that everybody else might give
So
you 10 or 20, I don't
say
know.
for instance, we have something possibly over at the school. And just say for instance, and I don't even want to go there, but just heaven forbid that 2 of the members that's in that building has a roof come in on them. Well, you've got members hurt and you got air packs destroyed. So that puts you back to 3 in those days.
Well, in that scenario, we're gonna have a special call meeting and buy you 2 more.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Yeah,
just-
but
If you, the
I
school
I'm just
catches
saying,
on fire,
though.
you're not gonna be the only fire department there.
I can turn that in. No, that's right, we're not. It's just like he said a minute ago. You gotta be prepared. If we don't have somebody coming to back us up, we gotta do it ourselves.
I understand.
And that's plain and
And see,
simple,
the
that's the
thing
bottom
he
line.
started with, he's losing, the ones he has are not.
The packs, yeah,
they're
no, I
breaking.
agree, it's legitimate. And you
What?
can't find parts for them.
Yeah,
But if we do 5,
I'm
maybe we might as well
for
do
giving
5.
them 10.
Yeah.
Larry, could we just, while we're, of the over $2 million we had in this, what's the percentage we've given to the fire department agencies?
I had it broke down last time. I don't know if
I
we
don't
ever
mean to
carried
put
that
you on
over.
the spot, you can give me an estimate, but would you say 85% of the 2 million has gone to,
A big chunk has.
so over, by the time we're done with this board will have invested well over $1.5 million into our volunteer rescue and fire departments in Dickinson County. We're doing all we can do here.
Yeah,
I'm
it's,
trying to be fair. We're putting $60,000 on Caney Ridge. I want to give you what you want and need and you say you need, but at the same time, we have got $2.5 million in requests and only $700,000 left.
that's the problem. Here's the thing. I agree with you, but this fire department rescue is the one thing this
Well,
county's
that's what this
never.
money was for.
And they have never had, we've never had a sustainment plan for this. Our hope is when we get this casino money, we can start establishing that. But right now, this money's for that, and that's a critical need. We just had a firefighter that lost his life fighting a fire. Fire chief, actually. You know, and we've gotta invest in equipping these guys so they can safely do their job. And I don't feel comfortable with him having 5 that are breaking all the time.
Are they breaking all of them?
The
Well,
other part of it is each truck has an X number amount of packs on it, okay? So, and then we have day shift and night shift. We don't have as many people come out on days as we do nights. We got a full crew and run all the trucks on nights. But on the daytime, you're limited to what you run. So we have established certain trucks that run out first, okay? Whatever the call might be, we've got some trucks that leave that building first. That's what needs to happen every time. Well, you get there and you only have 2 packs that works on that truck. And 4 people show up, 2 of them come in personal vehicles. So you've got somebody on the pump, 2 going inside. You've got those 2 packs, and that's all. Unless somebody else shows up at the building and brings the other truck.
I'd like to speak.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead, go right ahead.
There's different scenarios that hurts us, and that's the reason why we're asking, yeah, that's 10 packs. And that gives us 16 total. But those 6 can go down, and then 2 or 3 of them can go down at the same time. So that drops that overall total pretty quick.
What was the 11 for that we?
We already allocated it.
For 1 pack?
For 10 air
Well-
bottles.
For the air bottle, okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to formulate how I want, and you may have 3 votes to give you exactly what you want. That's, I hope maybe you do. I mean, I just want to help everybody.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, and
Go
the other part of
think our
it is, I wanna try to
primary-
pay you, we're gonna pay you, I ain't gonna try, we'll pay you back if you bought them because you're tax exempt.
Yeah.
You know,
Go ahead, Miss Willie.
You're gonna pay us back how much?
pardon?
You're gonna pay back how much?
Whatever the remainder is of what you're gonna allow
What is
us.
this total here?
So if we buy 10 packs But that's
No, we already
That's from
gave
last
him.
time.
We already agreed to
Still yet to be
11,000.
paid.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if we buy the remainder of the money,
Okay.
you're gonna pay us back?
Yes.
Well, I don't see, that's a question, if they're gonna pay us back.
Well, yeah.
You're
everything is
saying
I'm
you're gonna
still-
pay back between the 11 and the 14, correct?
Right,
Which is
what I'm
60
trying to do is get the
No.
discount on the
62.9.
OPEX and get money from Wise County.
Larry, would you break this down for us?
Yes.
What,
And that's questionable on the,
How
on
you
the
gonna
Wise
pay us
County.
back when you get grants, is that what you're
let
talking
Larry's
about?
gonna explain it here.
Yeah, so from what I understand, of course, last meeting, we appropriated $11,000 for 10 air bottles.
Right.
And when Mr. Harris got the quote, it came back at like 14.5, so we had a difference there, and we knew this meeting was coming up, and he said that he needed the air pack, so he was gonna present us with another option on that. So now the total is 73,950, and of course, to get those 10 air packs with the bottles and things, it'd be 73,950. We've already appropriated 11,000, so he needs 62,950. Now, again, as Mr. Evans said, with the amount of requests we got, he was throwing out an option, for doing half of those, which would be an additional 25,000 that we would have to commit, because half would be about 36,000, since we've already appropriated 11,000. And I think I understand, you're gonna ask Wise County, so if they could possibly pay some, but then I think what Mr. Harris is saying also, and that's what we're kind of doing now. After the last meeting, we decided we're handling everything. We've had problems with the auditors on getting information on what they need. As folks are making requests, we're actually ordering the stuff and paying for the stuff, or y'all are putting it in and we're giving a purchase order and having to bill it to us, but we're involved in that, so we're paying directly on that as well. So, Mr. Harris is asking, if he can get the money or whatever it might be, we would order them for him, and then the difference in what the county gives and what the fire department may have to pay or Wise County might have to pay, they would pay us back that portion of
So
that.
how much would that be, Larry, if they pay
Well,
us
it depends on
back?
what you appropriate. If you appropriate 25,000, as Mr. Evans suggested, it would be about 36,000 would come back to us. But we'd have to take 36,000 out of our general fund and pay that, and they'll just pay that back, so it's a wash.
I
wouldn't
will
really-
say that whatever you decide, and Mr. Evans also, whatever you decide, if you decide on 5 of them, we're gonna have to make do with 5.
Well, you always have, and I know that, Mr. Harrison.
I mean,
And
we
And
will.
you all come, every time we need you, you were there with me, in Bear Pen, and I'll never forget that. And I wasn't trying to debate with you, I'm just trying
no,
to figure out
I
how
know.
to divvy this money up. I wanna help everyone, and,
I know that-
and I'm just speaking my opinion, I owe it to you to be transparent on what I'm thinking. I'm not
Right.
speaking for anybody else, I'm just trying to speak to you
And I
on my
realize
logic.
that there's a lot of money. Everybody's asking for a lot of money, I know that, and it's not there. I also know that. This is televised also, right?
As far as
Yes,
I know,
sir.
yes, sir.
Right, well, so I might catch you on the break and I could explain something else to you, but I won't do it over while it's televised concerning, another matter there, but,
Well, you're happy, I mean, whatever you wanna talk about, I'm not gonna cut you
Right.
off on anything.
but, whatever you all decide, the bottom line is, we're gonna take it and use it and make it last as long as we can. That's what we've been doing, that's what we'll continue to do. We don't have a choice.
Better what we got down.
Right. So, and there again, I appreciate everything you all do for us.
We appreciate you.
And,
Appreciate you, you do a good job.
I hope that,
I wish we had,
I hope we can make things work one way or the other.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
And you all
Thank
will
you.
always make it work, no matter
Now,
what.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Yes.
I think that as far as the fire departments, we've helped all the fire departments except the one on the ridge. Larry and I went up there.
One on
Ben is the
Canyon.
only one that can put that truck in there.
Well,
Caney
Caney
Ridge,
Ridge.
Caney Ridge.
Caney Ridge,
Okay,
I
I'm
mean
sorry. I just
Caney.
wanted to make sure what you thought.
Caney, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just,
And anyway, I think our primary funding today would be the 75. He's come down, and I know being from working with him in church, we get quotes on everything. And Ben is very efficient in getting the quote. And he's come down from 125 to up to 75. Am I correct, Ben?
Well, I started out with 75.
all I want is being to
But you
use it,
started out asking first for
to
120.
use it like you would his own
The
money.
one- The 120 was just the highest quote that I got.
Okay.
I initially asked for 75.
All right. And I think
You're
that's
not a
our
bit tired,
primary,
are you?
helping the fire departments this time. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that's our primary.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Larry and I went up there and looked at that building. Ben's the only one that can put that truck in that building.
There's no room.
It has to be backed in. I watched him the other day. I told Bruce, I said, he was backing it in. We followed him up Rock House. And I said, I want to see Ben back that truck in that building.
Mr.
But I
Evans,
think
Chairman
that's our
Evans,
primary in our fire departments, and I hope everyone understands that.
we have 2 more requests for Hayside Rescue and Hayside Volunteer Fire, but I do have those breakdowns you asked for a
Yeah,
minute
could
ago.
you go ahead
I
and
added
just,
them
while
together.
these men or
Everybody's here, I'll share.
here, of what this
So
county's done?
today, what's been appropriated through the last meeting with our ARPA funds, Clinchco Volunteer Fire Department, $55,573. Clintwood Fire Department, $61,028. Hayside Fire Department, $36,000. Sandy Ridge Fire Department, $21,000. Sandy Ridge Rescue, Sandy Ridge Rescue is $47,218. Clintwood Rescue, $21,471. And Hayside Rescue, $90,015.
That's less than I thought, but,
$332,305, about 18.5% of the funds that we've got, so,
and then after today, it'll be at least 20% probably.
yeah, it'll be over.
That's
20.
less than, I misspoke then, that was less than I
Well-
thought.
This is the big area that we don't have a sustainment plan.
Well, you're right, Ron.
And we've gotta build that.
Thank you, Mr. Barton.
And I wholeheartedly understand Ms. Willis's idea that we've helped all of the departments and not done on Caney Ridge.
Well,
I
now it's
understand
coming.
that. And that sort of lets us
I mean,
help all of them, you know.
they made up money, and I remember, they had fish fries and everything to make up money even to put the building up.
But Mr. Kennedy, getting serious here for a moment, makes the best point of anything. The radius from your residence to a fire station impacts your insurance premium
Yes.
significantly.
Yeah.
And that's a big old long ridge, and having that there helps the people up there, not only safety wise and fire protection wise, but money in your pocket, insurance premium wise. So that's why it's
I
important.
guess I would re-emphasize, we would have approved this request last time. We just needed to get the quotes, and you came here and you
Yeah.
delivered. So,
Is there
I don't
anybody
think
else?
there's a question.
Anybody else from Sandy Ridge? Any other questions on Sandy Ridge? All right, Mr. Bartley, we'll pivot to Hayside, if you're ready. Hayside Fire or Rescue?
I was thinking that lady got that child back there too.
She's with Little League, and I'm gonna try to help her get out of here
Oh, okay.
next, after we do our fire people.
But the child is being exceptionally
Yes, he
well.
is.
I dropped him a piece of plus.
Whatever works.
I'm Troy Bartley with Hayside Rescue. I know most of you. I've made about all the requests. I had to go and purchase one more item this past week. The Lucas that we purchased the battery for. Ron, you helped us with that. The charger also got shot in that deal. So I had to go buy a charger for it, and it was $434. I believe I give Mr. Martin the.
Yes, I updated our book this morning with that. It's in the book, and it is
They want a
Copy
charger.
of that.
$434.93.
I will tell
It's
you
item number
this, the
16.
Lucas that you all purchased for us is on the truck, working. We've not had to use it yet, thank God for that, but, last night I did have a DOA from a gunshot wound, and we had an overdose and an extreme bad difficulty breathing call. I got in this morning at 2:30.
But all 3 of those last night?
All 3 of them last night after 9 o'clock.
Oh,
So
mercy.
this will you're asking for another Lucas or give you
No, I'm not asking for nothing but to help pay for that charger for
the
the
charger.
Lucas
So
that I
how many
have.
Lucases do you have, 2?
I have 2 now.
Okay.
Thanks to you all. And the 2 tough books that you got are working good. You've done purchased them. I haven't received all the bills yet, but I've got a bill on the new Lucas paracord, and for the new Lucas, I've got it, but I haven't got the bill for the
This
Lucas.
is a paracord, you're $434.
$434 for a 6-foot cord with a little box that's actually a transformer, step-down transformer on it. And I actually printed that off from an email, Mr. Barton, that they sent me on that, because I hadn't got the bill yet.
Right.
that I got them send me an email on it, and we printed it off from there. But that's all I have, but I wanna thank you all for everything you've done, first on that. Actually, last night I had 2 crews out
He's risky.
for about
Oh,
4 hours,
fire
5.
department.
And, yesterday we had, I think it's 5 or 6 calls total yesterday.
Really?
Just a busy day. So we answered every one of her calls.
Huh.
But thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley.
Thank you.
The truck that we've got coming,
Mhm.
you still got money set aside?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 50,000 something. Yep,
Hopefully we can get that in October.
sounds great. I know y'all can use it, so. Mr. Evans, do we have anybody from Hayside Fire here?
Yeah, we do. Hayside Fire.
My name is Jennifer Cook. I'm Secretary and Treasurer at Highside, and so this is not usually my place to do this. I apologize ahead of time, but may not have any answers to the questions.
We appreciate you coming.
I know Rocky had asked for a new truck. His quote that he asked for was $500,000. I don't know. He may have had a truck in mind for that price. I don't know. And I don't have any kind of record where he had found anything. So the quote that I got is much more than that. And I was only able to get one quote in the amount of time after his passing for me to come here today.
Your quote is $889,000.
That's the only one that I was able to get.
So you don't know what Rocky
I
had?
do not know. And I don't have access to anything, that he would have, his email or anything like that, that maybe he would have had one with. And there's no one for me to ask. I have asked his wife, but she knows as much as I do when it comes with him with that stuff. He did it. She didn't know anything about.
He may have just did a wag initially because he had to go out and get an actual quote.
He may have. I don't
And
know where
prices
he was at
have
with it. So,
increased incredibly.
and so, that's just, I'm just here to, I don't know that we could find one for that. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just here to,
Robert, I know your truck's 300,000 on here. What are we?
What their one was quite.
It's based on a pickup chassis.
yeah, we were asking for an engine
And,
or rescue
we
pumper.
did a little price comparison of what price trucks are, about what they, and it's $800,000.
Well, and that's what I suspected.
You're not, like I said,
Yeah, it is. It is what it is.
and, we priced a couple to see what was going on, and some people that they went up that way, and they're not coming down.
No, I doubt they will. But so in the future, because we now got 4 truck requests.
We do.
How do we handle this? Is there something? I guess the first question, to get a truck takes a year,
Probably.
and
Year or more.
or more. I agree.
Longer, yeah.
Do you have to put all money down at once?
No, I don't think you do until, I've never,
Just on delivery.
What's that?
On delivery, you have.
On delivery, when you get.
So, you gotcha, I gotcha. So, I guess with the projections of what we got coming in casino, do you foresee us being able to at least set some of this aside for it and then?
It's always a possibility. Your
And
casino
then-
funds, there's gonna be a lot of people wanting those for different things. There's a lot of need out there, but
And
definitely.
I'll warn everyone here, it's gonna have to happen for all these trucks. Cause I know that you're struggling with some of the equipment getting up the mountains and that. So we'll have to try to come up with a way to sustain this.
We will. It's definitely something we need to give consideration as we talk about budget on how we're gonna get a plan for replacing these trucks that are needed.
Yeah.
Moving forward, a sustainability plan.
Used trucks?
I think our newest engine that we have is a 2007 model. And the tanker that we have is a 2010. And I'm pretty sure the county helped us buy a 2006 engine back, and that one was a brand new one in 2006.
So could you get a use one for this?
I mean, I'm just kind of new at this too. I mean, I can search for one and
When you-
try to get something.
Here's the problem, and I wanna say this again, when we buy used equipment, it may
Can't
look.
get parts to fix.
It may look impressive by the mileage, but the pumps are wore out. They're not designed to work in these mountains. So,
Exactly. That's a big problem with the mountains.
Yeah.
yeah,
Getting designed to do that.
It's a big
So-
problem coming up that kind of money.
It is, I mean, it's a lot of money. I didn't expect it when I got that email and that was the quote. It
I
surprised me.
kinda was worried it would be a lot higher.
Yeah, but I mean, this was the first time that I had even been a part of trying to get a quote for anything like that, so,
And work this out here.
Mr. Chairman, may I share something, please?
Should please.
I want to recognize to the board, and y'all are aware of somewhat, but Ms. Cook and her husband Philip are actually going up Saturday to meet some folks from Waverly Fire Department out of Sussex County. Gentleman from Waverly has a daughter in school at Virginia Tech, and they donated us the truck. And of course, it's not new and it's not going to take care of it. It's just a Band-Aid to help some, and then it may be a spare truck to use at another department somewhere. But again, it's no substitute. We need these new trucks. But it will help them out where their one truck has been in Roanoke for almost a year, waiting on parts, getting fixed. But they're gracious enough to take time the other day, Saturday, to drive up and meet the folks from Waverly Fire Department and do the exchange. This fire department was donated to us this fire truck was donated to us by Sussex County. They have bought 2 new trucks recently, and they were over $800,000 a piece. The last truck that they purchased took almost 2 years to get in, and that's the one that they're donating this one to us for. At the same time, some other departments in Sussex County, not Waverly, but some of the other departments they have replaced their air packs and bottles and things, and they still had some Scott's tanks that were still in date. Asked if we had any need for them, and I said most definitely, it's something we always need. So he was going to ask, Richard was going to ask the other departments and seeing if they still have them and whatever, they're going to donate them to us if they do. And they said they would put them on the truck and send them with the truck. So once they come in, then, they can work out who needs something. And again, it's just a Band-Aid. I'm sure the dates on them probably are going to run out soon. But I just want to recognize you and Philip for
Yeah,
being willing to go get that
Thank you
truck.
so much.
Thank you for your effort.
Philip, he's with the forestry service, right?
He is with both. Now he's chief at Highside. He was assistant chief.
You know what I called him when I was young? Scooter.
Yes.
Anybody still call him Scooter?
Yes. A lot of them know about that. Yeah, he and he does Department of Forestry too, so he was with Rocky a lot. And so
I know.
right now they've got him through the week full time until the end of fire season to cover for brush fires for that part of Rocky's job that he did. And so he couldn't be here today due to that, where he was with forestry.
Yes, ma'am.
We
We
appreciate
appreciate
you
you all.
Thank you.
And your daughter's involved in,
My son and my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, we appreciate your family.
They follow their daddy's footsteps, and my son does forestry too, and my daughter will be 18 in June, and she plans on doing it as well.
Yes,
So it's in their blood.
We appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all have anything? Is there anyone else from Hayside?
I think that's all of our fire and rescue
Okay.
requests.
Is there any, before we pivot to the other stuff, is there any other questions for these men and women here for any of the fire departments? Is there anything else before we pivot from the fire departments or rescue squads? Do what, Terry?
We'll check and see if it's down there. Chris is here, but Karen's down there. I know Cindy left some checks, but I don't know.
I got one more thing I'd like to add. Just know, this board's trying to do the best they can for its citizens, and we fully understand that. Your task was trying to manage money to help a whole lot of different people. But the fire and EMS and police are tasked to do the same thing, but we don't have that income that allows us to do it like it needs to be done. If you figure in training, apparatus, and equipment, we're short-handed. We can't hardly get people to want the departments anymore. They don't want to volunteer. Everybody wants to be paid. Oh, I fully understand that, but we can't afford to pay them. So we get people, and when we get them, and you get some of them trained, they stay till they get some of that training, and then they go to a paid department over at Bristol or Kingsport or somewhere, Gate City. So that hurts us because we've spent time, money, and effort on training and equipment,
Of course.
and then it walked out the door. And each department is feeling that, but we still have the same desires that you do, is to try to take care of the people that we're tasked to do. We want to take care of them as fast and efficiently as we can. And I know you already know that, but the public doesn't know that. They don't realize that. A lot of them are just, they don't have a clue. And we do appreciate everything you do.
Not till you need you. Then they know.
You want me to, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
You want me to tell the rest of the board about what I told you there earlier?
Sure.
Our business? We're fixing to change billing companies, rescue water, and, the reason we're changing, we've not got enough money come in to keep going. Point blank. I told Mr. Barton, right now, I think we have $17,900 and some dollars in our payroll accounts. I've still been talking to our billing lady, I've been talking to Ron Kendrick, been talking to Wade Fields. They've recently switched to a different company out of Kentucky, and they tell me they're done almost twice as good a billing firm. And I told Mr. Barton that we may need some help in order to carry through and keep our squads going with some funding until we can get the new money coming in from the other billing company. They told us yesterday, I talked to the guy, he said, you're looking, when you switch, at 30 to 45 days, the best we can do to get you any money coming in. And
You've got 2 paid,
right now, I have 4 paid.
do you?
I've got 2 that's volunteering, and I've got 4 paid. And we cover 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with them 4 people. And
What's
this,
who are they?
I have Grace and Cody Stanley, their husband and wife. I have myself and Joey Blankenship. I had to think, I just hired him not long ago as a driver. But, you know, to cover 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, we're working 3.5 days each.
Mr. Barton,
24-hour shifts, yeah.
Yes, sir.
so is this one we should, maybe see about advancing or like we did with the others?
It would be something similar to that, yes. That's how we did the others to get them
Yeah.
through, but we're at the point right now making that fourth quarter appropriation anyway, so.
right.
Yeah,
Well, that'll help.
You'll have more money.
yeah, so if it's coming,
Well, one payroll for us, right now, I've got enough on account. My wife is our bookkeeper. She has been ever since we started, but she told me this week, she said, you've got enough on account to do for 1 month. Time we pay the state taxes and everything. That has to, or the payroll taxes, it has to be paid every month.
How long again, Mr. Bartley? 4 payroll?
A month.
1 month.
1 month, okay.
Yes, sir. What,
So they would get their
Quarterly.
Quarterly
allowance.
That's only gonna be $6,000.
Yeah, 6250, I think.
$6,000 would do
I'd say they have to
one pay period, 2 weeks.
Well, we can't do that today either.
Yeah,
But
No,
I appreciate you
I'm
giving
not
us some of
asking for it
that.
today, I
No,
just
know.
want to make you aware of it, that I'm probably gonna be
That's
at.
Keep me
Figure out,
updated on
yeah.
that, then that's something we can look at, see what we can do. So,
I just wanted to make you aware of it, and maybe y'all can plan on something that would help us. And if you got any advice on it, I'll even take that. My wife says I'm too hard-headed, I won't listen to other people's advice, but when it comes to the squad, I will. Yeah.
I don't think you do.
I just think that
like
we
that too.
need, and maybe we are with
I don't like that
Clintwood
too.
Rescue figuring this out, but you've got to be, and I'm not saying you, Mr. Bartley, but we need to help you be diligent in billing this stuff. I mean, there's Medicare, Medicaid, There's automobile insurance. When you do a wreck, you've got to diligently, I mean, that's, as a small business owner myself, that's the thing I hate the worst, but my wife's good at it. She's gonna send the invoices out to get the money in,
Well,
you
we
know?
don't actually
But you
do-
gotta do that, and
Yeah,
you got
you
to
gotta do it.
be, and you gotta harass them, where's my check, where's my money, where's my money? You have to do, business people, it's not a comfortable thing, but you've got to get paid for what you do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
we
have
don't
to.
bill ourselves. We have a lady hired that does the billing.
Well, that's why we need to help you, or whatever we can do to get a billing firm.
I have always
Shelby's
suggested
recommended in the
that,
past.
we hire somebody to do
Well, that's something we need to
billing
figure out.
for every rescue and fire in this county, because they're all losing money.
That's right.
Well, this guy that I've been talking to, I was talking to him yesterday, he told me, he said, y'all's billing company is not billing people's insurance if you go to a car wreck and they don't want to go to the hospital. He said, you can bill them for that, for you showing up, because they had a wreck, you can bill
Well,
them the insurance for
and
that.
they may or may not have coverage for that. Some people pay for it, some people don't. But that's still something you need to explore,
Yeah.
you know?
I was just gonna mention, I know you indicated to Eliza when she had that accident, we would probably get something in the mail, but were you able to bill the insurance company?
I'm not trying, I just found this out yesterday.
I got you, so
So do you have, and you may not know, and I'm not trying to put, but do you have med pay on your automobile insurance policy?
I can't.
If you do, they
I
would
think-
pay for that. That would be
No, I
an
know,
easy
and that's
$1,000 for you all.
Well, if we get half of what we go on, it would help.
But Larry, I
Yeah.
think, aren't you, aren't you some title, emergency management
Yeah.
director?
He's the director.
You all need to get a meeting with all these people and figure this out. Figure it out. I
We
don't
gotta
think-
have a
And I'll
source
back
of,
you.
we
I
gotta
think
have
we
a
need a
source of
central
revenue
billing
though,
for
too,
everybody.
and that's the purpose of it.
All right, we're getting off topic. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
On the billing real quickly though, we do the billing. also.
In-house.
We do, we're working through a company that's called the Emergency Services Billing Corporation, and they're out of Illinois. So the thing about with fire and EMS, okay, so if he's running the rescue squad, he's got 2, possibly 3 people on there, 2 in the back, driver. All right, fire, you're gonna have multiple people on the scene, and the way this billing company works is they charge per apparatus, like if the chief's there, assistant chief, captain, whoever is on scene, and they have a breakdown. They charge all the way down to the road flare.
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's outrageous.
It is.
And then most people's homeowners policy just has $500 anyway, but if you can get that $500,
Oh, we're happy with it.
yeah, well, I know. I helped Nathan just the other day get a $500 check.
We've sent in bills to
I just done that on my own and,
truckers, the companies, owners, and where that breakdown was, well, we didn't send it in, the company did. They looked at that breakdown and said, we ain't paying it. And I've got some pending now that's been there for almost 2 years.
yeah, but that's where we need to
Everybody
use-
needs to be
But
central.
see, we can't afford to take them to court.
You have to hire
Well, then
somebody
all
to
you
do
can get's
that?
$500 anyway, it ain't worth going to court.
Have it, everybody uses the same company.
Yeah.
This is something you all, and I'm not
They have
trying to
to
pick on you about it,
bring
but
it
you need to get
and
these people
It
together and
is sent
figure
to
this
that
out.
one company.
I'd like to
I
add
mean,
one thing.
It's a big, take a
I
lot.
talked to some people at
For instance,
Vaco
if I
over
take
these, they had
somebody in your
a
family
booth
to the
set up,
hospital,
and they said,
what their insurance pays is all we ask for.
Then why
If
don't
you've
we?
got-
But are you getting those billed
If
out?
you don't have no
Larry's mother
insurance,
does
we'll
that.
take you anyway.
No, I know that.
And you'll get 3 bills, and you've gone from trash. We don't pursue the extra. I'm hearing, I don't know for a fact, that some of the others are actually pursuing the rest of it.
Yeah, we don't charge, in other words, if it's turned in and they say they don't, or their insurance doesn't cover that.
But the
we don't
thing about
charge.
it is, in this county, the Medicaid eligibility is up to a $40,000 household income now, so everybody should have insurance. There's no
They should have.
scenario, and I'm sure there are people, but there shouldn't be a scenario where you all are providing services to someone that doesn't have a recovery method. So we need to get a billing agency to take care of you all.
Rescue squads have done it pretty well, but there is some
Fire is
inconsistency.
different, yeah.
Fire's difficult.
All right, let's pivot. Anything else for fire and rescue? Ms. Byers, you ready?
Bless his heart.
He's doing good.
He's a good young'un. Pretty too.
Yeah.
All right, we are asking for $3,000 for our Ridgeview Little League program. This is solely for maintenance of the fields. Now, we combined a few years ago, instead of Clintwood, Irvington, Highside, we are now Ridgeview Little League. The only part of our league that is still separated is our T-ball teams, and that's because we don't want 4-year-olds having to go across the county. The money that we're asking for is solely for our field maintenance. At Hayside at the dam, obviously the Corps lets us use the fields, but we have to maintain everything. So we purchase the gas for the mowers. We have to purchase top brick dust for the fields, which is this field conditioner that we've asked for. The quick dry is if it rains and we need to get the fields in use, we can put this quick dry down. It takes care of the water issue that's on the field. Chalk to line the fields. Right now, we're going out and buying all-purpose flour to put in our chalk. So, it's all-purpose, and it's working. But we use chalk or lime to take care of the fields, to line the fields. The mound clay and the clay bricks are also just to keep the mounds, the pitching mounds, in shape. We have right now been approved for hosting the 11 and 12 baseball district tournament. That's going to be held at the Clintwood field. So we want to try and make sure that these fields, not just Clintwood, but Hayside and McClure as well, are in good condition, so that when we have all of these other teams that come to Dickinson County to play, whether it's coach pitch baseball or softball or our 9-10 leagues, we have a good, beautiful looking recreational field for them to use. The McClure obviously gives us the option to use their field, and we are super grateful for it, but we try to maintain everything ourselves. So all of the chalk and things like that, that's something that we don't really have right now. I know at Hayside up there, like I said, we're using flour to dust our fields. That's what we had to do the other night at McClure because we couldn't get into the building. So if we could get the $3,000 just to buy the maintenance, we'd really appreciate that. We have, just since 2021, Ridgeview alone, our Little League program, has won 8 out of 12 possible district tournaments. So that's a lot of publicity to bring to our Little League program here. We've still got a really good program that's coming up. We've got, a whole new age group of kids that are moving up. So we want to try and make our facility something that is really nice for not only us to be able to use to help these kids, but for people that come here to be able to see. We have a lot of people that travel from Union, Coburn. We work with Lee, Norton, but when the district tournaments come around, we get quite a few people from out of the area that come here. So we would really like to have some funding to be able to make these fields a lot nicer. Unfortunately, things have increased a lot within the last few years, so we've had to kind of go back on buying those things in favor of funding concessions and just hats and jerseys and things like that for kids that can't afford it, because we don't turn any kid away. Right now we charge $45 per kid. Every child underneath that, if you sign up additional children, is $35. That usually covers their jersey and their hat, but we have a lot of kids in this area that unfortunately can't afford just that $45 fee to sign up, so we do pay for that. We don't turn any child away. That does cut into our profits, unfortunately, but we want these kids to be able to play. So the just the funding for what we've requested, it would solely be just maintenance purposes, just to keep us running for hopefully this year and next year if we can keep up with everything we've got.
Well, I'm for it.
I think y'all do a good job. Yeah, and then y'all put a lot of work into it, all the work y'all done with the sod there at the
We
spillway
do,
and stuff.
yeah. My husband, he works for Intervest, and we had a few other employees from Intervest. They get to take a volunteer day that Intervest pays for and covers, and we had about 4 from that company, along with a few other members of the community, that volunteered up at Highside just to get the sod off of the infield to get it ready for this conditioner that we had requested just to kind of maintain the field. But I mean, a lot of us, we get off work, we go home, we get a quick bite to eat, and then we're up at the fields, whether it's Highside, McClure, or Clintwood. We spend the whole evening there just trying to keep the fields in shape. You know, we've got somebody that has to go up to Highside at least once a week in the summer, if not more than that, to mow, and that's money that we have to, you know, gas money we've got to put into it ourselves. So it does take a lot of work to keep this league up and running, a lot of volunteer hours, you know, that we take out of our own pocket to put back into the league for these kids.
Y'all have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
3,000, is that enough for all this?
That was the initial quote that David Bryan got from this company that we were looking at getting this field conditioner for. The field conditioner, the majority of that is going to go up to the dam because we did take the sod off of all of the infields on the varsity field and the Little League field. If we get more, obviously, we would love to have more. What we would do with the extra is buying probably extra field conditioner to build up that infield. If we put our fence back up on our varsity side, that would technically give us a second Little League approved field, so we could have more games up at the dam. That's more business over here, obviously. If we get that fence up, we can put a t-ball field out in the varsity outfield because we have the room out there. We just have to get the fence up to be able to do that. That would give us 4 fields up at the dam now.
They got lights up there too, don't they?
We do. We have lights on the varsity field and on the Little League field. The minor field, which we play a lot of our the minor field we don't have any lights on, but we do t-ball on that and we cut those games off at dark. But if we could get the extra money, you know, anything we take, we'll, you know, be happy with. And like I said, everything will stay solely for maintenance of all 3 locations. It doesn't just go to Highside or just to Clintwood or just to...
Just to clarify something, Larry, this would go to the field, Corps or someone, or?
It would go to Ridgeview Little League, and we
Okay.
disperse it through the 3 field, or through the 3
We do that, or we
locations.
could actually, like we've been doing with our ARPA, we could, like
maintenance
place an order
guy.
and we could
Yeah.
pay it directly.
I'm just trying to make sure we do it the legal
Right.
way because,
Y'all are
like the
gonna
soccer
get some
team,
of
they
that
had to
red
become a
sand
501c.
also, or
That's
what you
why
call
I,
it,
I'm not questioning us giving you the money, I'm questioning
The
how we
logistics on it.
deliver it.
Right.
And,
The red sand, we did get some, so when they took the softball field out over at Clintwood, we did get some of that, and we have tried to allocate that out. But what we look at when we try to get this conditioner, is it's a mix of brick dust and field dry, basically. The brick dust is a little bit better than just the sand, but for the biggest thing we would be looking at for that particular product is up at Highside. Because McClure, we have the gravel, and that keeps the drainage really well there. And then Highside, or Clintwood already has a pretty good layer. But where we did take all of the sod off of the 2 fields at Highside, right now they're playing on mud if it rains.
yeah. So I don't know, what do you think the right figure would be?
Well, I'm gonna give them what they asked for.
Well, I ain't talking about, I'm not denying that, but I'm wondering if we should be giving more.
I think they said,
That's
I
3
heard them say the
fields.
Clintwood field was in better shape. You know,
That's all.
it's always been in better shape.
the special needs are gonna play up there because it's easier to push a wheelchair up there because it's got hard packed clay, right?
Yes,
And
and,
the floor
and
field
that's,
has a tendency to be wet,
which one?
the
No.
floor.
No,
McClure is fine.
all
That's
of
what
our
they said to
locations,
me.
all of the locations, if we could get the maintenance on the field, if we could get the conditioner, then all of the fields would be usable. Obviously, Clintwood is in the best location for the special needs side. And their field has been maintained better, which they also have a lot of help from the town of Clintwood.
Yes, 'cause Don Baker
Which
used to.
Hayside does not get. The
do
Corps
that.
allows us to
Field
use the
anyway,
property,
yeah.
but we have to maintain every aspect of it. With the McClure Kiwanis, obviously the Kiwanis helps us out a lot when it comes to maintaining the field, but we still take care of how everything is done in terms of lining the field, going down there, making sure all of the fields are drug and the grass is not growing on the infield, things like that. So the special education or the special ed program that they're bringing in for the baseball, they would also be eligible to use all of the fields in the county.
You'd mentioned a fence, and then you'd open up another field. What's the cost on that, you think?
We have the fencing. I think they have the posts up there as well. It's just a matter of getting the fence put up. It's literally just posts that are rolled into the fence. Little League has to have our field a certain size for it to be eligible for use. When we get that fence put up, then we would have the varsity field considered as a Little League field again. And then the outfield down the road, we could turn into another minor sized field, which would just be used for T-ball. It couldn't be used for anything more than that. But it's still another field that could be of use for practices and things like that. Currently, with just our Ridgeview Little League, including the T-ball teams, we have 18 teams that we have to schedule on 4 fields in this county.
I like the way it's spread out because each community has got something going on in it.
We do, and we rotate all of our teams through the county. So, for example, my husband and mine's team, we would practice at Clintwood. We practiced at Highside on Tuesday, and then we're coming to Clintwood today. So we go through all of the fields. I make the scheduling, and I make sure that all the teams are rotated throughout the county. So nobody is going to sit just at Clintwood. Nobody's going to sit just at Highside. We try to use them all as evenly as possible.
Ms. Murray?
Yes.
If I may say something, David and I are members of Hayside Kiwanis.
Yeah.
We have our field up there now. We have got all the sod pretty well out of the infield.
Okay.
And you worked on bases this past week. Not finished yet.
Yeah, we do utilize the
We need to get
the
some break
cage.
dust to put down there.
Yeah, we utilize the cage up at the Kiwanis as much as we can. The field, we were waiting on you guys to kind of do a little bit more to the infield, obviously, because a ball hits a grass
Well, that's
plot
what I
and
say,
it
we're
pops
trying-
up,
we
so.
are trying to get.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We get that.
Well, that's great. I really was probing to see make sure you're confident 3,000 covers it.
That is the quote that David Bryan got me for the original amount. That is just to cover our initial supplies for maintenance.
Okay. I'm done.
What, isn't it down here, the Hayside Kiwanis is asking for upgrade the ball field? Isn't that a request?
Well, we'll
Mr.
give it
Yates
to
is here for
that
that.
here. Do you have anybody have anything else from the fires? I'm voting for it.
I'm voting for that.
And thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming in person. I appreciate people that make requests and come and speak. It means a lot.
Even if we bring tiny people with us.
And I know the building up running
You've been
at 5
awful
o'clock
good,
because I have to have the kids' shoes and everything on
Yes, that's what we do.
at 15 to 5.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Mr. Gates, thank you for being patient.
If you can't find it, holler at me.
He's been here, he knows the,
Yeah, I
he
know.
knows the part of your
I'm
patience.
sure you don't miss it. Thank you, Mr. Gates.
I can sympathize with Ms. Byers. I've been there, done that a number of times. I was president of the Little League at Hayside for 14 years. We built the fields, we built the complex. And, we had support from supervisors and the community. After 77 flood, we lost our field. And we had to do something, and that spot was open, but it was nothing but solid rock. We had to transport all the dirt into that field to make those fields. Volunteer work from the community and truck drivers and coal operators, anybody I could get time from. Our request is very similar. At the Kiwanis Park, we dedicated ourselves to serving the children of the community by developing a park that they could use. Up there, we have an indoor batting cage for Little League players. We have tennis courts, 3 of them. We have the softball field that she referred to. We have a motocross track. We have a horse ring. We have a truck pull track. And various other things that we can do, developing playgrounds. We have 2 playgrounds. One recently developed or started to develop. So we're trying to serve the community as much as possible. Our tennis courts are in dire need of repair and maintenance. The last time they were painted or surfaced was early 90s by the tennis coach at Highside High School, Gene Counts. He did it personally. I think they bought the paint, and Gene then went up and painted the courts one at a time. Today we have a request to have those courts cleaned and refurbished by one of the local companies here. And we'd like to convert one court into a pickleball court. Pickleball is a up-and-coming new game, I guess you'd call it, for elderly folks that can't keep up with the tennis balls. And
Shane Hillman and Scotty Owens would disagree with that, though.
Is that? Oh,
Now,
yeah.
they're into, I got their pickleball court going there at Splash Dam, or at the spillway, but, so I'm gonna tell them, you call them old.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that familiar. I've seen it a little bit on TV, but that's about all I know about it. And the other part of our request is to maintenance and upgrade our softball field that Ms. Byers made reference to improve the condition of the infield. Through the years, it's weathered and blown off of the coverings and so forth. But we're trying to bring it up to standards, put in new bases, and put up a cover that'll accommodate the use of the field without the danger of some kid getting hit with a ball or whatever. I'll answer any questions that you have.
I'm for this. I appreciate you making this request.
I do.
I appreciate you doing everything you can do from that corner of the county. Those facilities are used a lot. And
They
so
are.
I know Mr. Peters has questions, but I'm going to be voting in favor of this myself. Go ahead, Mr. Peters.
David, is the ball field gonna be accessible for the public?
Yes, it is constantly.
Okay, cause I don't know, the bottom gate, is there parking down there? The one that goes down by the horse and that?
The access to the ball fields is to the right. You know, to the clubhouse, you go through the gate.
Gotcha, so there's enough there, that's all.
Yes, yes.
Then, the other thing I was gonna suggest, and this is for the board to consider, we have partnership with Kiwanis at McClure. If you guys approve a lease every year. I think that it would be good if we officially establish this as a thing, you know, that this access is available, and we do a lease with you, and then we can talk about the fair as well, like a week for the fair and stuff like that, so that we got it all ironed out. And that way it's not no surprise why this is done that way or it's done a different way. I'm not opposed to approving this, the funding. I'm just saying that I think we should also set it up in like a lease similar to what we have with McClure Kiwanis.
Okay, that would include like multiple parties.
Well, we would have to include the fair like
County.
a week, and then I don't know if there's anyone else.
Fair, Little League should be included in this, because they do use our facilities.
Little League does?
Yes.
But is there
They're
is there
using the
something
batting cage right
contractual
now.
that they use it for, or is it just?
They use the indoor batting cage in bad weather.
No, and I'm not, if you guys control
They
that, I'm
use
not
the-
trying to interfere with that.
Well, they use the field to practice on.
But I don't know that we would have to have them in the lease. It's just, I'm looking for something that, where the county acknowledges that we have these facilities that we partnered with the Kiwanis and that we do this with. I don't think you need to include the Little League in that. That's something you just, you have it open to the public to use with them and
Yeah, I was
stuff.
gonna say, once Little League season starts, you know, we usually try to work with everybody that was able to use fields and things like that. So it would be, you know, basically starting around March of every year.
Yeah.
We would verify that everything is still open to use, you know. we can
But this is just more of a partnership between us and the Kiwanis Club that we have these facilities available to the public,
Okay.
you know? And
How about
we're
if I
making
consult
investments
with
in it.
Mr. Barton and the county attorney?
Well, that's what I was gonna say, Mr. Gates. This issue he's talking about is probably something that needs to be addressed at a regular meeting, and he needs to get with our attorney and have our attorney do whatever it is he's asking for.
Who is county attorney?
Mr. Sturgill, Will Sturgill, but just holler at me sometime, we'll get together.
That's sort of outside the scope of this right now.
All right, okay.
But
We
is
do
anybody-
pay for your lights up there, don't we?
Excuse me?
Doesn't the county pay for your lights up there?
for all the power
The
bills.
lights,
Pay all the power
yes.
bills up there. What-
Not all the power bills.
Well, not the
no.
campground, but we pay,
Well, who gets money from the campground, the Highside Kiwanis?
Yes,
we don't pay the
exactly.
campground.
We have developed the campground.
Well, has that been very, this is off subject, but has that been very profitable?
Not yet. About the time we got it started, pandemic hit, and so we've been
So are you looking for,
just keeping our head above water for the last couple of years.
how many places you got up there?
We got 18 spots.
And last summer, how many were utilized?
Oh, I really wouldn't know that data, but it averaged probably around 6 to 8 people a
Well,
month.
how much you charge a night for those campers?
$375. No, not, that's a month.
A month?
$38 a night. Yeah.
You try, $375 a week, a month?
Month.
That's
If you're
pretty
long
high
term.
dollar, buddy.
That's long term.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I had a camper on house hosting, and I think it was $175. But, so you use that money, you utilize that money to keep your fields and everything and your things going,
We do, yeah.
but you're not getting enough money from that to be
Not right
utilized?
offhand, no.
And so you're asking for $34,000 to do this,
Yes.
but you're not making any money on your campground.
Not yet, no. We're about even. We break even with the expenses. So we pay the water and the sewer for the campground. We took a loan out to
And
install
you
the
pay the lights
water.
for the
Do what?
campground. You pay the lights for the campground.
Yes.
Lights, water, and sewer.
Electricity,
Yeah.
yeah.
When's they haven't done the sewer project yet, have they?
The sewer project's about 90% down.
Okay, so they're almost done.
We're waiting on AEP to install some poles.
No water.
And that's all I was saying, is let's set it up official like we.
All right, Larry and I'll explore
together on
that
that.
and see what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Just holler at me.
I noticed in here that you've estimated for improvements to the tennis court of $31,000, but the breakdown said that that's on the low end and 35 on the high end. Do y'all have the means to pick up the high end monies
Where's that
if we should allocate this, that get your estimate at the 31,000 if it should go over? Do you all have the means to do that?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
I appreciate you getting a estimate from a local contractor as well.
Yes.
Well, it was quick, you know, I mean, we had to.
He does good work.
He does.
He done some of these in Wise, and he done a great job. Y'all have anything
Mr.
else?
Yates, you got one other request, Mr. Yates.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Got one more request for the handicap swing.
Hey, Mr. Gates, David,
Dave,
you got another request in there.
The swings, Mr. Yates.
It's the same swing that was purchased for the other
I know,
three.
Miss
parks.
Slush, Larry, we were talking, we approved, just to be clear, we approved the swing for Bear Pen, we approved the swing for McClure, and we approved the swing for,
Yeah,
to
Kids
the
Corner.
Kids Corner.
Yes, sir.
So we didn't really get one for the Hayside area, so.
Well, we
Well, I
didn't know
thought we-
that it was open to the public, but I think we
Sure.
need to do it.
I thought it was Highside.
Well, we have two playgrounds. We've just developed the last one in the last 2 years.
Well, they got a playground down in town of Highside there, don't they?
Yes, they have one in town, but at the Kiwanis Park, we have two. One down on the lower deck and one on the upper
I
deck.
think we should put one in Highside. I don't know where it should go.
And that's, Mr. Yates, those are open. Is the
They're
one on the
open.
lower deck, is it open all the time? The gate?
Yes, they
Okay.
can access it,
Yes, sir.
but again, taking the right-hand drive.
Yes, sir.
We got a right-hand drive there and then a straight drive through the gate, but they're open to the public.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any questions on that?
I talked to a lady on Backbone Ridge the other day that she was pleased to know that we were doing some of these platform swings for handicap and.
Ms. Wilson's
if,
gonna have
you
one
know.
at her place on West Dane, or Brushy Ridge.
Rush
right?
Ridge bought
Yeah.
one with their.
So this will about cover the whole county
Yeah.
then, if we
Yeah.
approve this.
David, which part playground do you want to swing?
This one will go in the new one up next to the campground.
That makes sense, you'll get more bang for the buck there.
Those gates
Yeah.
are open all the
Yeah,
time.
I agree.
Thank you, David.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks,
David.
David.
Thank you, Mr. Yates.
I believe that concludes all of our in-person requests. Is
We
there any more?
have, Mr. Boyd wants to address the board
Yeah.
on a request. We don't have an actual estimate yet.
Do we have an application?
We don't have an application or an estimate yet, but he contacted me yesterday.
Who's
So we
that?
don't have an application?
Mr.
We don't have an
Boyd.
application yet.
Joe Boyd.
Go ahead.
I appreciate it. So, I emphasize with the fire department, I put 7 years fire and rescue in before I finally said, can't make it as a volunteer with this. That's a pretty serious draw on your funds, but if you want to improve on it, you got to address it.
Did you, for my information, clarify who you're making a request on behalf of?
I am presenting an option to get revenue.
So who are you making a request for ARPA funds on behalf of?
I was looking at ARPA funds.
So on behalf of who? What entity or government organization?
We could put it with the county, you could put it with the IDA, or you could
So
put it
you're
with-
here speaking on behalf of the county and the IDA?
I'm here as a consultant because I do this for.
Who has employed you?
Sorry?
Who has employed you as a consultant?
I help localities do these.
So who are you here, who has hired you?
Me. I do technology.
Let me clarify for you, these funds can only be dispersed to government agencies.
Well, you're gonna have to put it with the IDA if you want. You've got it.
So you have a contract with the IDA to make this
No, I don't.
request?
No, I don't. You'd
So-
once mentioned the opportunity about getting better cellular signal at one of the meetings. You was wanting to improve upon that. So what I wanted to offer you was, there is a technology, there's a company out here that can improve upon your infrastructure and bring 5G cellular.
So you're here as a representative of a private business asking for government money?
No, I'm not asking for government money.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out who you're here for.
I'm here as a option, do we want revenue coming in to pay for
So
some of
you're
these
here
things?
to make a political speech?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Well,
I'd like to
I'd
see you
like to
generate
have-
some revenue.
I would like to have clarity on who you represent and who, and what entity you're requesting these monies be appropriated to. And if you don't have representation of a proper entity that we could appropriate money to, then we really don't have any business to discuss then.
Very well.
Does anybody else have any opinion about that? I don't know who he's asking for
I
money
think
for.
he could come to one of our board meetings and make a,
I mean, if you want to give your spiel, but I mean, this is an ARPA. Can you explain what this is, Larry, so we?
Well, it was advertised.
Well, it's a special call meeting for the consideration of requests for ARPA funds to be dispersed, so.
And he does, and did you make a written application?
No, I didn't make a written application.
Well, how come?
Because I didn't know we had any more ARPA funds to disperse. And
Well, go ahead.
the
I'm gonna shut
newspaper
up.
headline said, we're trying to figure out how to disperse. So I made the call and said, so you got more money to disperse?
Who did you call?
I talked to him yesterday.
What time did you talk to him yesterday?
I didn't write that
Okay,
down.
go ahead.
I didn't know I was on trial.
Go ahead.
I'll save you time. Thank you.
I think you're welcome to come to one of our meetings and address us.
I'm looking for ways for y'all to have revenue. I mean, back when
Well,
I was in the fire
for
department,
me,
you had
I say go ahead and talk.
$100,000 million.
So go ahead.
Go ahead and talk, Mr.
So,
Boyd.
when you want to, if you want to bring tourism, I'd like to, how do you use ARPA funds for tourism in your county? I've been doing research over here and it says you can do that. So put that with your tourism department if you want to. Put that with your economic development department if you want to. I'm not asking for ARPA funds, I can't receive them. But you can hire a consultant if you need ideas on how to generate revenue. It says you can do that under the ARPA rules. So put it with your tourism department. But the goal is revenue. How we gonna get revenue out of this? You were asking about how do we get revenue out of the campground? What are we doing to get revenue? Those are things you gotta consider. Is if we put money here, is it gonna get a return on investment?
So you have an idea for cell phone service?
Yes, that's one of them.
Let's hear it.
Okay, cellular service is not another cell phone tower when you're down in the rivers. You have to work with what you have. If you've got fiber infrastructure, then you figure out a way to do low base antennas like they do with the 5G network instead of the 4G network. You can create a private network. This is how the baseball fields and stadiums do it. They create a private network. Then you get the roaming fees because you own the network. So those are options to come out there if your economic development group department.
So you're talking about launching satellites? No.
No. Just use your fiber to put in. There was fiber up in your district, Dayton Mountain. Is the fiber still there or is it gone?
As far as I know, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's there.
And I was just gonna add, they're doing a similar thing to what he's talking about on 460.
Yeah, that's what they're doing on
Well, there's a
460.
tower, I think.
Yeah, but they're doing it's not quite what you're saying, but it's something that's gonna bounce at a lower level down the highway.
Correct.
Because going up on the mountain didn't work. 'Cause they
No, it's
couldn't
not,
get-
because you only have a 30-degree down angle off of the
So do you have to have towers to do what you do?
No. No, you can have power poles. You just need good line of sight. So if you take a sharp cut
And
back
then you
curve,
have
you
to
gotta have
have
another set of
permission
power
from the
poles.
power pole to put anything on.
Yes.
And that's what we're having trouble with right now with Point Broadband, is pole permission.
Well, there's ways around that now, if you.
No, they're not.
Well, no, there's not
So a
ways.
multi-million-dollar company can't coordinate a contract with Verizon or AP, but you can to fix the county's problem.
There's other people that can do
Who?
it. Well, if you wanna look up on the federal rules.
So why is it
there
Point Broadband
Can I
that's a
finish, please?
multi-million-dollar
Can I
company
finish,
doing it?
please?
Well, I've allowed you to speak.
Okay.
You're not
Well,
on the
if you wanna know
agenda,
how
and you
deal
don't
with
have an
Point Broadband,
application.
Federal dollars went into that, they can't deny you access to that fiber.
So what, have you sent a solicitation to Point Broadband for them to hire you as a consultant to fix this problem? Because they're a private business, and I'm sure if you know how to get all that fixed, that they would certainly want to
You want
hire
me to
you.
search my emails, how many times I have reached out to them to say, do we wanna do this?
Do they
I could
respond?
Probably do that.
Do they ever respond?
Cumberland Plateau actually laid the fiber through the county, and Cumberland Plateau actually owns the fiber.
half of it.
On half of it, yes.
I served on the.
Yeah, Joe's familiar with that.
So if federal dollars paid for the fiber, you have a rule that an attorney can help you look up. They can't deny you access to that fiber. So
You'd have to have, you'd have to have the fiber there, I mean,
you do have to have.
you have to have
The pole
split offs
attachments
from it.
Anyway,
But we don't have the
in
fiber
closing,
all
if you're
over.
looking for funds, I sent everybody the email from FEMA.
Fiber's all over.
If
It's
you
over the main
have this
area.
grant group, you can get FEMA money as well for helping your fire department.
No.
There's some money for you.
They put it
So-
on the main highway. the fire.
Anyway, the options are out there if your economic development department needs revenue.
Well, why don't you talk to Dana and see if you can do something? Because we sure do need cellular service, that's for sure.
It's getting the plans together and making them happen. That's all it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Joel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So is there anyone else that's got an application here that wants to speak? I say we take about a 10-minute bathroom break, and then we'll come back and deliberate and vote. Is that okay with everyone?
It's fine, we'll have 4 more once we get back. We'll have to
Four more
look at
requests?
4 more requests
So
on
do
the
y'all wanna
paper.
go ahead and do these requests, or go take a break?
Yeah, how many more you got? One
4.
more?
Let's go ahead and, I would like to do all the requests, take a break, and then come back and talk and
Alright.
vote, is what I'd
Well,
like.
let's run through these then.
Where do we stop off at?
We'll go back to number 11. On that, that's gonna be the 911 request. Steve sent me this request recently. Let me find it here.
It's after Dana's in there.
Yes. Okay. Well, wrong one.
I've got Steve Powers on page 32.
All right, it
Is
is,
that it?
this is for Dickinson County 911, Stephen Powers, for $19,446.97.
What page is that on?
The intended use of funds is the purchase of adequate
here it
power
is.
supplies and amplifiers that will produce wattage matching our
19,000.
full effective radiated power as licensed by the FCC. And what he's sharing on the next page, he's sharing like an example, the Rose Ridge Tower site. You know, like the Sheriff's Channel has a 150 watt license, and the current
They
equipment is
claim
only
that
putting out
nobody uses that for
76.91 watts, about half of what they're licensed for. Same with, you know, fire, EMS, and then the Clintwood Fire is 38.46, and they're approved for 110 watts. So he said that all amplifiers are 100 watt, minus the Clintwood Fire Repeater, which is 50 watts. All are using multi-coupler diplexers with a loss of 3 to 4. All new installed antennas have a gain, but he's looking to upgrade the power supplies and amplifiers to help with the future upgrades on the towers. So this is separate from the tower work that's being done right now.
Where's the Rose Ridge Tower at?
Ravens.
Well, why is it every time I ask to get some gravel for that road, they claim nobody's using it?
No, we don't own it. Hillcom owns it. We lease tower space off of them for our antennas.
So that's up there where Raven's place is, and he'll come on that.
They own the tower and everything, and then we lease tower space from them. We have to pay a lease fee to them each month, so,
Then when you look at the road, it's only a road to one house.
right.
Yeah,
They got
I
the
know,
tower
why
that's
can't we
privately
find
owned.
that, shoot, far they go up through there all the time, and they stop at that tower, can't we provide them with some kind of gravel?
Not for our business, we can't, no, because we pay a lease to them. We don't
I tell you, they need.
own that space or anything. We lease that space.
Who leases it?
The county leases space for our antennas off of Hillcom.
You'll
All right, so
find
let's
one
get to
they
the
really
request
should
here.
put the gravel
Let's
on.
get to the ARPA request.
So that's his request, $19,446.97.
Is this something that needs to be done, or critical, or what?
Well, according to him, we're trying to improve the tower, so he says there is a need for it based on, we're only putting out about 2/3 of what we can put out as far as power.
This would help them.
It would help with our communications, so. Any other questions on that one?
No, sir.
All right, we'll flip on down to number 18 on our list. Town of Clintwood is requesting $150,000 for Baker Ridge project, Wolf Den project, Lyle Ridge water projects. Trying to flip over to it, they give a pretty good letter.
Did you tell them the date and time of this meeting?
I did, I reached out to Mr. Lambert.
So why didn't they come?
Yesterday evening.
I'm gonna speak for the Baker Ridge. They've studied that to death and done that. They
I
don't
just
need
don't
to
really
study
know
for
why-
Baker Ridge. I could do the study, get out there and replace those pipes.
I don't really know why a significant project and a significant amount of money, why they wouldn't have somebody here. I don't get it. But go ahead.
I asked him, did you call and ask him?
I did, I spoke to him last night.
They sent a
on
nice
that.
letter,
And
and
about him, a nice letter, explained everything.
I do believe that the Baker Ridge project is piecemeal put together. They have no fire hydrants, they have no water pressure.
But they studied it to death, they don't need $150 to study it.
$150,000.
How many
Well, they're not,
studies have been done on Baker?
No, they're not studying. This is
They're
for.
not
Go ahead, Larry,
studying.
explain it.
This is
Go
for
ahead.
They have the-
installation, I
They have
think.
the pipe for the Baker Ridge project, is my understanding on this. What's happened, they've got funding, they've got everything in place, but COVID, the price increases with COVID is what has
Lane did their
slowed
study.
these projects
They're
down.
through
And
their
They got a price
$150,000 would help.
They've studied it.
They did not give a specific, well, they did on the front page, I guess, the request. Baker
the
Ridge
front
Water
page
Improvement
there,
Project is
793,000.
793,000, Wolf Pen is 92,000, and Lyle Ridge is 40,000, a total cost of 925,747. And they thought they had funding to do everything, but with the COVID price increases, it's put them short, and so that's why they're asking
Do you know where they were getting their funding from?
I do not.
I think they were putting away a part of their, Donald was, putting away part of their co-severance and building the fund up.
Yeah, I think they got
Like
154,000
Danny
in
has said,
co-severance
he has
last.
indicated to me that they plan on increasing their water rates. I would really like to see us help the Baker Ridge project, whatever you all guys can help with. That's got 81 houses out there, that's a
You
big community.
know what, PSA borrows from rural development to replace and
We had-
improve our water line. Town of Glenwood cannot borrow from rural development because of their water rates.
Well,
And this, we have had this, and I'm not fussing at you, Shelby, my tone. I'm just saying, we have had this conversation no less than 50 times.
We have.
And the cure for it would be for them to come and address what Ms. Willis has said every time we brought this up about the water rates, why they can't borrow. And I believe what you're saying. I'm just saying I wish they would come if they want $150,000 from us and at least show up and ask us and answer these questions that we've asked 50 times.
I brought it up many times.
I know you have,
And,
but we've never gotten real
I
far.
wanna help them,
Well, I was
so I'm not
hoping he'd
opposed
show
to
up
it either.
today.
But I wanna see something laid out and, because I watch, sitting on Cumberland Plateau, me and Shelby watch all the counties that are members come in and get this Southwest water. Now, they were invited to the last meeting. They had it wasn't one of our meetings, Shelby, but it was where they were advertising what's out there. And I know
Right.
Danny participated in that. So it'd be good to know where they're at so we can help them if we need to or make sure they're applying.
Well, you
today.
had to give the PSA how much ARPA funds.
We've given 125,000 so far, and they have a request in today, so.
Yeah.
So I don't see why we can't help the town of Clintwood if we're gonna help PSA.
I'm not I'm kinda with you, Rhonda.
Is all of these people located in these 3 different project areas, town of Clintwood residents?
they're
No, like Lyle
Farms and
Ridge, that's a
Wells
good point, Ms. Kaiser, that's a really good point, thank you for bringing that up.
Because I was
Like,
wondering, they're paying county tax
Danny?
dollars.
that's a great,
Rhonda.
Wolf Penn's
You know, you
County,
could run
Lyle
out
Ridge
here
is
about
county.
5
Yeah, that's what I
And I
thought.
think Baker Ridge is
I
county.
think it may be
But-
too.
And that's a very good point you made.
That it's not
They want you
necessarily
to, they want to talk to
supporting.
you about this request.
That's a good point.
I'm talking to Danny right now. He said he could run out here right fast.
Mr. Evans,
You think you could run out here
don't
right
the
fast?
town receive the money for those, a PSA doesn't receive the money for those?
Danny,
I
Can
can't
you run out
talk
here right
straight off.
fast?
I know,
Okay.
Those are town of Clintwood's, water.
I couldn't hear you.
Well, you want to be on a conference call, you say?
With Judy here.
With Judy? Well, of course, I'm concerned with the Baker Ridge
See what
project. That's
number to
in
call
my
and we call them
district,
for
and
that
I've had,
phone.
when I go campaign, they hit me up all the time. We ain't got no water pressure. They don't.
They got to
What's the number to call?
Yeah,
What's the
whatever
number
we
to
call,
call?
we'll call
Wait
it from our
just a
conference
minute.
phone.
Well, we're here now. You're on speakerphone if you want to.
Well,
No, just tell him to, let me have it.
I can't, all of.
Mayor, I'm gonna give you the number to call, that'll put you in on our system here, will that be okay? What's the number?
See, the other thing too, Rhonda,
Let me get this, 276-333.
0357.
0357, did you get that?
0357.
Yes, 333-0357.
Okay.
All right, call that and that'll connect you into all our stuff. All right, thanks, bye.
if
sorry.
What I was gonna say, if these are county, they're paying a higher water rate. They're paying $17.
No, no, no,
No,
they're town of
no.
Clearwater customers, but they live in the county.
I understand that,
The
but those customers
town
pay more.
flexes the money, not PSA.
They might, I don't know what.
They do, I know. I did the research
But
on
what
it.
now, Ron?
If they're county and the town supplies the water, they pay like roughly $17 for
Danny should be able
2,000
to answer
gallons.
that.
What's that?
Danny should be able to give clarity
Yeah,
on what
yeah,
the.
he will, and
Well, I think he said they were gonna have to up the rates because that John Flanagan was up in there.
Yeah, they all will.
I wanna vote for this, but I just don't, we get into this debate every time.
Every time
And
you
I
go
just
with
wish they
Kelly
would
Clinton.
come, and I think we would get it approved. If they just come and explain this and we'll
Well,
vote
I've
for it.
asked, that's all I can do is I've asked and begged
Does he
and
call
done
in yet?
everything else.
Text
I
him
have
that number
talked to
again.
Mr. Lambert, and the town is in the process, he says, of doing a study to increase their rates to get them up comparable
But-
with all others within like a couple of year time span or something.
But you made a very
You know.
great point, Ms. Kaiser, and on behalf of the town, that even, all three of these projects are not even in the corporation limits, they're
Yeah.
out in the county.
No,
I
but
mean,
that's
they're doing the
typical all
work,
over.
but they're county
But what I'm
residents.
trying to say is,
They're
we're
still-
missing out on grant money because they're not applying.
And I don't know the answer to that.
They did get a little one for a study, not about last year maybe.
You wanna
I
text
can't
him that
remember.
number, Larry? Make sure he
Now,
knows.
these are not PSA water lines.
No, I
that's
know
out
they're
there.
not.
No, they're not
The
PSA,
town
they're
receives
town
the
Clinton's
funds for
doing
these.
What I'm saying is, if we're gonna have PSA and help them get the sewer out of the Highside, and help them do this and help them do that, can we help Bakery? I know the other two, but
Yes, the answer to that's yes, I think so. We just need to not have, if we just
well,
have
I
people
know,
here
I
to
hear
answer
it
the
every
questions.
time. Donald Baker kept the rates low, we know that, and, I'm wondering, are they, let's see, the PSA's gonna, for the Red Onion is gonna supply the water out there, right? Larry?
No, that's town of Clinton.
No.
Is that the
And
town of Cleveland?
No, at Red Onion,
Ours is sewer.
PSA is the sewer.
Sewer,
Um,
but they're, the lift station and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the town of Glenwood is going to get the water out there.
I think the PSA is water and sewer both out
It's
there,
already
actually.
out there anyway, I think.
Yeah,
But the
that's-
sewer,
yeah,
The
we
we
sewer
have to
gonna
pay
be
the town of
transferred back through
to
Clintwood sewer.
It will be,
But
they,
the town
as it
of
is now,
Cleveland
they
is
pay town
going
of Clintwood
to,
for processing it, so.
use their
So
treatment
they're,
plant.
they're helping benefit the county.
They
To
are.
treat the sewage.
Yeah, they have to.
Did you hear
do
that, Josh? With the sewer coming back through the Clintwood plant in the town, that's helping benefit the county
Oh,
for
yeah.
Red
Yeah, it
Onion.
is, it is. But that was part of the
Yeah, the ta-
partnership
It's
that
not
was
gonna
done to
benefit
Well,
pay
yeah.
the
for it
county,
all.
it's gonna
I
benefit
mean,
the
they're
town.
making money off that.
Oh,
We have to
okay.
pay the
The
town
sewer,
to
the customers
put the
have to
sewer
pay
through
their.
their
Well, of course you'll have to
All right, well, let's,
sewer bill.
while he's calling or not
What's
calling,
the other one?
yeah, let's go to the next one.
The next one's the next page over, the health wagon. Of course, you know, the board previously appropriated $50,000 to help start the after-hours clinic over here in Happy Valley for Dixon County residents. It's been very successful during that time period. The information here says they've seen 354 patients as of March 25th.
Where's that at?
On most
the next
days,
one
they are, you know, they're only open 2 days, 4 hours, you know, Saturday morning and then Thursday evening, I think it is. Average patients seen during peak season was 25 in 4 hours. Average number of patients seen now is 11 patients during the 4-hour time period. And, you know, this email goes on to share, you know, what they've done on that. They've got 2 requests. One is going to be for the after-hours clinic for $75,000. We'll just look at that one first, I guess.
Larry, could you tell us what page, and I know it may not be,
I can't
but
find it.
It's back next to the back.
I can't find it.
It's the one in front of the Little League
There.
$3,000 request.
And that,
It's in front of the Little League's $3,000 request in that book. It's back next to the back.
I found it. Right at the very next page of Larry, or.
Yeah, right after Danny's, the town of Clinton, it's the next
Which
page
is, you
over.
said that, you prefaced that, and I didn't hear you.
That's fine.
Right after the water one.
all right, I'm looking here.
Oh, it's this
Everybody
Richmond
meant to
one,
find it.
okay.
We mean
At the top,
read
Rhonda,
more.
it says special call meeting. It's the very next page after
It's
Danny's
this
letter.
one. Looks like
After
that.
Danny's letter. First down with Glenwood. Okay, got you.
All right, go ahead, Larry. Thanks, sorry.
Thank you. If everybody's on the same page, I'll kind of recap again here back in the fall with the need, with all the sickness and the lack of after-hours services here in the county. The county had partnered with the Health Wagon to open up the clinic they have here in our industrial park to see all patients, after-hours patients, 2 evenings or 1 evening a week on Thursday evenings for 4 hours and Saturday mornings for 4 hours. And the intent was they would get open, use this $50,000 for 6 months is what they anticipated it would cover. And in this email, they said they actually had to spend about $75,000, I think, is what they actually spent, because with the volume, they had to bring in more providers. But with that, at the same time, they were hoping to see, gauge the need, see what the need was, if it was a need that we had here in the county, which we all felt like it was, see what the participation would be, and that would give them time to work on sustainability, which Mr. Peters had brought up before. And they were going to work on credentialing and licensing so that they could transition over. They can't be open as a free clinic at the same time and as a paid clinic. So they were working through that. They would have to maybe close in the evenings as a free clinic and then open back up as an after hours or however. But they were going to work through those hurdles and things like that. And we had a call with them. Was that last week, Josh, I think?
Yes.
We had a phone call with them and to see where they were. And they were sharing the numbers with them and with us. And they put this email together and sent it to us yesterday because we hadn't received a request yet. They were asking for more ARPA funding. And in order to continue, they're asking for $75,000 more in ARPA funding right now for the after-hours clinic. So
I don't know what.
How much would that be per hour? Would that be about $900 an hour or something?
just to look back and see how many when we started.
And when
We
was it?
gave them the
per
money
hour.
11,
If you
10,
keep it open
22.
8 hours.
That's when the check was
8
wrote.
hours.
And didn't they open the week after
they
Thanksgiving?
see- they 15
patients. $939.
Are you seeing 30 patients in 8 hours, you reckon?
They're seeing, if you'll look, it tells you, they're seeing on average 11 patients for the 4-hour window twice a week. So they're seeing 22 patients.
What I want to know
But
is how
during
much
the
it
week.
is per hour.
During their peak
to
was
keep it open.
25.
Yeah, but I'm just saying on
Right, on
average, they've
average,
averaged
yeah.
it out to, and I know what you're saying, Miss Willis. I guess we got to figure out. So they're open on this after hours, 8 hours per week. I don't know how many weeks they've been open.
Well, it's supposed to be 6 months, wasn't it?
Right, and
I
we're
don't
not at
recall
6
when they
months
opened
yet.
the date.
I could look it up.
Well, let's look it up, 'cause Shelby
According
wants to
to
know.
the last page in this here, it shows the Health Wagon After Hours was given a $50,000 check on 11/10/22.
And they opened right after that. I
They
don't know.
opened right the week before or the week after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
So let's use 11.
Where's that penny? Where'd you get $11,000?
Let's use November 15th as the starting date, and that's a guess, but that's probably a close guess.
Now, my question was $75,000.
No, I know, and we're trying to get the answer. So if they open November 15th, then they've been open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They've been open roughly 20 weeks. And 8 hours a week. 8 hours times 20.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out
160
where
hours.
75,000 per hour.
So 75.
He's a figure.
Danny's on there.
Just a minute, Danny.
Probably get some separated too.
So if you take 160 hours divided by $75,000, that's $468 per hour. And you've got to figure that's paying at least one nurse practitioner, at least one office staff. That's their salaries, that's their Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, that's lights, that's equipment.
I'm in a meeting.
That's probably cheap.
And during
For a clinic.
January, they
I'm
had
not
two.
questioning the price. What I'm questioning is back to what I originally asked when we went into this adventure. Is it sustainable?
Larry, I don't know, you're the
And
CPA.
that's what I'm saying, because have they made any progress?
Well, let me read to you what it says here. It said, important step, that leads us into credentialing a specific space located in a specific building This, as mentioned above, is also going to be a difficult yet important step for the same reasons as mentioned above. Credentialing normally takes anywhere from 90 to 120 days. This time period has been lengthened post-COVID. And from my understanding, talking to them, they had not started yet, was my understanding.
That's what troubles me if they haven't started, because that should have been started right away.
They say they need two
that means
providers,
it's
two nurses,
120
and a
days from now.
receptionist. You're talking about some, be a high salary there. I don't know how they're gonna come out.
That's my only hiccup.
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's been a wild success, they've seen at least
Yeah,
11
they have, and I
patients
think
per
we should
evening.
continue it. I think we should
And I'm not
continue.
saying, maybe you do maybe not do the full request, I don't know. But I think we ought to give them something to keep this going and see if
Oh,
they
I
do
do
get.
too. I think
And
it's
I'm
been
not saying
good.
your question's not a valid question.
That's the only
But
thing.
then
I'm
Larry
looking
that's
for.
our last shot. So.
Larry and
I would love it to grow to where they're open every day of the week practically.
Well, somebody told me
You know-
yesterday they already went 3 times and they just
I
left.
took my daughter twice to the.
But I can't, we gotta get it where it's sustainable, cause this is.
Well, we're not
playing with-
operating it. It's-
Yeah, we're playing with,
And all
money
you're
You're
that we
talking
talking
won't get
about,
back.
what you
And,
did,
know,
Josh,
we
you're talking
can't
about
rely-
they need $468 a hour.
Well,
to-
no, I thought Miss Willis's question, and I might have misunderstood, is what the cost per hour was to the
Well,
county.
no,
basically.
I'm multiplied, or divide the 8 into 75,000. So how much is that per hour if you
The 8.
divide 8 hours by
We've
75,000?
no number of weeks that Mr. Evans did.
Well, how do you,
number
I
of
mean,
weeks.
that's not gonna, what is
No,
that
well,
to?
I'm just looking at this.
Without the
I
number of
think
weeks.
we
Well, it's
go
my
over-
understanding,
I think we go overboard helping the help wagon. I think we've always gone overboard in helping the help wagon.
Well, I was reluctant to help them to begin with, but after I got through talking to Nick, he said, you give them what you want. He said, he had talked to the Mr. Doctor, what's his name, that's over it, the pulmonologist.
Smith.
No, Smitty's son,
Dr.
Dr.
Smitty's
Smitty.
son, he's
Yeah.
a doctor, a pulmonologist. And he said he did nothing but want to help. They send people to, instead of ballot, they're sending them to people to get a lower imaging rate.
Larry, this is a good point. I had 2 families, and then it was corroborated by the health wagon. They were so overrun at the Norton after-hours clinic back when, I don't know if it was flu or whatever was going around so bad around Christmas. And they were sending people, they sent people from Wise County because they had a 3-hour wait to,
Over here.
over. And they, and,
I actually had
so-
to do that too.
so you went to Wise and they sent
My
you to
son
Clintwood?
waited 2.5 hours at,
Yeah, we called Wise. Wise was backed up 3 hours.
Well, they're also, the
And I'm not saying that's right. All I'm saying is that we need it. That's
health
all I'm
wagon
saying.
is sending people to get lower imaging costs.
You
Than
think
what
maybe
they
we should
normally
only
would.
give half? And
I'd
tell
like
them
to
we
give
need to
them
see the
something.
I wanna give
credentials?
them something too.
Yeah,
need to see them
they
working
need
the
to go
credentials.
along with get your credentials.
Yeah, we shouldn't, we need to probably break
Wonder
it
what
up.
kind of credentials they have to have.
But
They know
said in
that,
order
I-
to bill,
Huh?
in order to bill, they have to get everything established.
Yeah, with Richmond,
Clinic
do
now.
they have to have, they don't have to have a certificate of need, because they're not with
No.
that.
Because it sounds like they haven't started it yet.
All I want to do is keep the thing open.
I think we should keep it open.
And I'm sorry, but I mean, it's a used thing and
And
we,
when this ARPA funding is gone, any request they make is gonna have to start being looked at in the budget. So they're gonna have to get
well, I
something
guess
to be
that's my theory.
sustainable.
Well, that's right. And that's my
Yeah.
theory is if we can help them now, let's help them with the understanding that we may not be able to help them anymore and hopefully it gets them on their feet. And if it don't, it don't. I mean, I
What
don't
is
know.
We need to motivate them to get the
I
credentials.
think we
Yeah.
need to
Don't give them the whole
yes,
amount.
I do.
All right, what's the next one?
They also have a request in
For dental.
for $63,900 for dental services
From them?
from them as well. And it says additionally, we have the opportunity to place a dental hygienist at Clintwood Clinic 1 day a week. This would be to do cleanings, exams, and refer to dental. We hope to be able to also place our dentist there at least monthly. Budget would be fairly simple, $1,820 for the hygienist monthly plus supplies. Haiti Robinson has reached out to us that she has children they cannot get in with the dentist.
is this, free also
Yes.
at Clintwood?
Yep, and they're asking for
I thought there
They
was
said
something
they're also
established a
planning
while
to
back
work with
between the local
DSS
dentist and her.
For the
and Dixon County Behavioral Health to get kids into the dental program. We need to give this some money too, I think.
I'd
I'm
rather
for
give
giving.
it to the dentist to
Agreed.
give it to that child.
Hey Shelby,
Yes.
several years ago, there was something to do with, they had someone that they were going to for the children in the school.
Yeah, through Elgin Dental. I didn't know
Yeah,
if
that's what I'm
Elgin Dental,
talking
Yeah,
about.
they said that
El-
at the schools. I don't know the status of that now,
Right,
but,
that was what they were using at that time.
Because we
That's the
really
only
need a
thing, I just
dentistry
remember
clinic,
that.
But there's a lot more but that'd be a lot more dollars. Our children's teeth are terrible, all the Mountain Dew games. They don't even brush their teeth if they've got talk to in their way.
All right, so is that it?
I think we
that's
should.
the last
All
one.
right, well,
Yes.
let's take a
No, we
five.
got Danny
We
on the
got
phone.
Danny on the
Yes.
line.
Yeah, we got
Danny
finished
on the
that.
phone.
Sorry.
All right, so,
Thank you,
Mr.
thank
Lamb.
Mr. Lambert.
Danny, all right, I'm gonna try to keep this as orderly, because you're on the phone, so that's gonna make it difficult for all of us. I'm gonna ask that each member talk individually, and then let you talk, so there's clarity and not a bunch of chaos here. So, first question, Ms. Wilson.
Let me first say thank you for, inviting me to the meeting, and, the reason this request was, put this request in because Rhonda had, asked me to put something in for the Baker Ridge project. She said she wanted to help some on that, so, we appreciate you all taking the letter and the time to listen to us.
Larry, Mayor, just elaborate if you can, on just a little bit on what you're trying to do on these three projects, Baker Ridge, Wolf Pen, and Lyle Ridge. Just briefly, if you want to just tell us what you're trying to do.
Well, these projects have been on the radar for several years. Even prior to Donald's death, we talked about doing these projects. And as outlined in the letter, just starting with the Wolf Pen project, part of that line down on Wolf Pen is in the woods. And so that's our main line coming from John Flanagan. And at that, when it was laid, it was laid in the straightest line possible. So it went through a lot of fields, a lot of people's pastures. And this is one section we're trying to get out of the woods and put it back on the main line, main highway, so we can, make the repairs simpler and more efficient, be out of water, less amount of time. The Baker Ridge project is, those people have been complaining for 10 years, I guess, because of lack of water and pressure. That was done as a community project when the water was first put out there. When we first started looking at the project, we were gonna put a 4-inch line in. Then we decided to up it to a 6-inch line so we could have fire hydrants. So that increased the cost on Baker Ridge. And then the Lyle Ridge project just that's been 30% of our water leaks over the past 3 years. And it's just about a half a mile long. So these are the projects we're concentrating on. But the lack of pipe when we wanted to do it, and just the increase of cost is it's wreaking havoc on our budget. So we thought we'd ask you all for some help. All three of these are actually in the county.
Right, I'm gonna let Ms. Willis go first, Mayor, but that's a good point. None of these three projects are in your corporation limits. They're actually out in the county, right?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Willis, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, they received the money for those, they bill. PSA doesn't have anything to do with these three projects. Correct?
Correct.
Well, now, aren't you gonna ask him about the water?
Well, yes, that's right.
Well,
I'm just gonna ask you, Danny, I know that $793,000 is not going to, complete the Baker Ridge project, correct?
I wouldn't think so with your cost overruns. I don't see that.
Well,
These are just estimates. We have Lane Engineering working on the Baker Ridge line. Ben McFall has already been awarded the Woodpin water line replacement project. And we are gonna try to do the Lyle Ridge project ourselves just to save money.
So is it 92,000 to do that project? Is that the complete amount?
Lyle Ridge is approximately 40,000. Wolfpen's approximately 92,000.
Okay.
And the Baker Ridge would be, we've got it 793, but that's.
So, do you have some money? This is Rhonda, Danny. So, do you
Yes.
have, why did you come up with the 150,000? Is this going to help you with the Baker Ridge project?
Well, we're using our ARPA funds, and basically we almost exhausted this will exhaust our ARPA funds. We won't even have enough money probably to complete the Baker Ridge project with the ARPA funds. And we've got some more things we wanted to do with the ARPA funds, but not a whole lot. We had a couple of things that I guess we could, back out of, like I said, with the cost increase, and we've just depleted our funds.
Well, Danny, every time I bring this up, I get this same response that you have kept or not you, but the previous has kept the water rates so low in town that it makes it difficult for you to get grants and loans. Is that correct, Shelby?
They can't borrow from rural development with their water rates. Am I correct, Danny?
That's correct. We probably can't get funds from them. But we are now we've got a firm doing a study on our water rates. At this time, and it's gonna be ready in about 2 weeks, I guess. No, what's it, about 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. So we'd have some recommendations for them to bring our rates up to where we're equal to other localities.
Now, how much are your rates, like on Wolfpen and Law Ridge? They're a little bit different than in the town, correct?
Yeah, there's out-of-town rates and there's in-town rates.
What is your out-of-town rates?
See, I never thought of that.
$17 a 2,000 gallons.
$12 per thousand. I've got that. Let me pull it up here in just a
Yeah,
second.
it's 1,000.
So your out-of-town is $12 per thousand?
Yeah.
No, it's 2,000.
He's gonna get,
$12 up to 2,000.
Yeah.
How's that compare with PSA? The PS or?
and what's the in-town mayor?
Let me go through this.
Okay, take your time,
Write this down.
just find it.
Yes.
We got it right.
Okay, in-town rates, $12 for the first 2,000 gallons. After 2,000 gallons, $3.81 per thousand.
Well, that's not no difference in the downtown is.
And what's,
Out-of-town rates are $17 for the first 2,000 gallons.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
$4.94 per thousand after that.
Higher then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't PSA just go up to $23?
For 1,500
No,
gallons.
nobody makes money on sewer.
That's correct. I agree with that.
So, Shelby, how does that compare with PSA rates?
PSA rates will be 19, 20, 21, 22. We are about 22, 23, I believe,
Yeah,
right now.
For 2,000?
and
It's
then
for
what after that?
1,500 gallons, 1,500 gallons.
And what
1,500
after the
gallons.
first 15?
I'm not sure. I have to go back and look on
Well, my rate didn't go up much at all, did yours? My water bill didn't. go
All
up
right,
much.
so that's a question that's not really relevant. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
something that
it's
always
just-
come up, Danny. I
Yeah.
appreciate you answering
I've
that.
got a question.
Go ahead. Mr. Peters has a question for you.
Hey, Danny,
Yes,
what, I know you recently attended a telecon with Cumberland Plateau. Was there anything said about you guys being able to apply for the Southwest Water Fund?
No, not that I can remember, Ron. That was sort of a short meeting. It was,
And I'm not privy to what you guys talked about, but I knew you guys were meeting. I guess I'm asking, what have you guys done to apply
that
to
wasn't
it?
brought up, I don't believe.
So let's say hypothetically, if we were to give you this $150,000, would you be able to complete these 3 projects?
Yes.
Okay. I have to say I'm for it, so.
We're ready to go out on bids for Baker Ridge. The bid package, we got the bid package in.
Ms. Kaiser, do you have anything?
The bid package should be here within the next week.
You got anything?
And then get a bid package, and then it'll go out to,
You want to talk?
to,
Hey,
People
Danny,
to
this is
bid on.
Ron Peters. Why haven't you guys tried to apply with Emerald Plateau? Because I see them come from PSA all the time. They get I think they got 118,000 a couple months ago.
For what now?
PSA got 118,000 from Cumberland Plateau a couple months ago. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out, why aren't you guys plugged into this? That would be Debbie out at Cumberland Plateau.
I don't know what they got it for.
We got it for, Backbone Ridge
Yeah,
Water Project.
yeah. I'm trying to help you here, Danny, but I'm asking, why don't we apply for the free stuff? Because this water thing is a problem all across the country, and
Yeah.
especially rural areas, they rely on this grant funding to get it replaced.
We do.
And
Well,
you may be a
some
town, but
cities
you're still
don't
rural.
know. I've been told the free money's over with.
What's
You know,
that?
we're not gonna get any free money anymore. It's gonna cost us, you know, maybe 50% on the loans.
Not Cumberland Plateau.
We haven't been told anything
Well,
like
we
that at
just-
Cumberland
we just-
Plateau.
I was just told that not long ago. It may have been on a
This is,
sewer project.
this is
They
that
said free
Southwest
money was
Water
over.
Project, isn't it? That we do that out of, Southwest.
that?
It's Southwest.
Yes, yes.
It's Southwest.
Yeah, yeah. Also, there's a difference in new lines and replacement lines. See, these are just replacements. For replacement,
That's
it's
all.
harder to get money than on a new
Backbone
line.
Ridge is
I understand, Danny, the projects that Ron just got approved were for replacement. They're for
Backbone Ridge.
upgrading Backbone Ridge. They did low
Yeah.
gap.
I'm glad that, I'm
I'm
not
just,
saying we couldn't. I appreciate the,
well, what I'm trying to get at is I was hopeful that you guys were plugged in when I heard you were attending the telecon, because I don't sit on that meeting. We get
Yeah.
briefed later.
yeah.
That I
Guess
would,
what we're trying to do now, we've got 3 projects we've already, Wolfpan is supposed to be, Ben said he could start within the next month or 2. And if we bid Baker Ridge project, we're hoping to get started on that as soon as possible. So, you know, we're running up on a deadline of, coming up with some money.
Danny, excuse me,
So
this
where
is,
we have time to go to Cumberland Plateau, we go through that process.
Now, Mr. Lambert, we used Rita Baker as our engineer at PSA, and she fills out all of our forms for that.
Works for TNL?
Yeah, we go, Chris Mullins does ours, and Chris has been real good about, on this Baker Ridge project. He hasn't mentioned about going to Cumberland Plateau or anything.
Danny,
I think we distributed every 3 months.
Danny, I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't with you, but I have said this for 3 years now or better, that you guys need to plug into this, and it hasn't happened. And I was hopeful, and that's why I'm saying, because we're trying to get the biggest bang out of our money, And if there's free money out there, we should be utilizing those avenues.
Well, I agree with that.
Danny, this is Peggy. I appreciate you reaching out to me on this as well, and I'm not sure how the town profits or how much you may profit from some of this with the water and stuff coming through the town, but the town is picking up the work, and these are 3 areas that are located in the county, not necessarily the town of Clintwood. So it helps us that we're serving the county. But as my fellow board members have stated, getting in touch with, setting up an appointment to do with Scotty Wampler with Cumberland Plateau to address avenues on funding may be something that you need to try to work on.
And I will also tell you, to add to that, we do realize that you have county customers, Danny,
Yeah.
but you also get extra severance too. That, because we cut that out 10% a few years ago and started giving it to you.
Yeah, well, that's a tough subject we probably need to talk about at a later date,
Yeah,
because, you know, if you take the amount of money we're getting versus, the other side, it's not very fairly distributed.
in a town, you should be able to cost effectively.
20% of their, severance tax money.
I'm gonna tell you,
That's
Newport.
what we asked for 20%, but I really don't wanna get into that right now.
No, I understand, but Newport News cost flows all their customers, and they don't get any outside help. They make enough to keep everything up and running, and a percentage of it goes back to their district fire department.
All right, so is there any other questions on the Bear Pen, Baker Ridge, Wolf Pen, and Lyle Ridge requests? Any other questions for Mr. Lambert? Mr. Lambert, is there anything else you'd like to say? Or you'd like us to know about these?
You know, it's just, like I said, you know, I did approach Ron, and Ron, said I could put in a request, which I did, and I think it's pretty well covered on what we need our money for. And I think there will be some cost overruns that, if you all could help us, we'd appreciate it. And, but I think we're gonna have to work together. We've got several things coming up.
Yes, sir, we do. That's right.
With this, ARC project, I think you are gonna need maybe some help from us on ARC, so, thinking dividing this offer money to the county, so I think it would be, it should be better if we all try to work together.
I agree, Mayor, and we appreciate, you all working with us on the splash pad, and that's a good point up on Red Onion, and so if nobody else has anything, we'll let him go, and, we appreciate you calling in.
Thanks.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, thank you all. Let's take a 10-minute recess. I'm about to bust. We'll be in recess for 10 minutes. All right, we're back from our recess now. We have concluded our hearings in regard to requests. Now is the time I think we need to devote some attention to maybe the bigger items and see if we have a consensus and see if there's any motions that arise from the discussion. The easiest, best way that I know to do this is to just go on the list, and fortunately the bigger, or some of the bigger requests are near the beginning. I would ask, instead of going in exact chronological order, that we take up the administrative software update that has been requested by our county administrator's office. That's a significant appropriation, and I think it makes our job going through these other requests easier to know if we're going to approve that. So if it's the pleasure of the board, could we discuss that piece?
Yeah.
And entertain any motions that might come out of it? And I'll quit talking.
Yeah, well, what I would say is I'm familiar with this with my history in the Air Force and that we need to, as old as the stuff is, we need to invest in something new.
Anyone else?
I agree that we need to do some things for ourselves. We have really distributed out a lot of money to different organizations through all of our ARPA funds, and we've really neglected ourselves. And I think this is an opportunity for us to upgrade those computers, and I know they need upgrading.
Yeah.
215,000, is that what it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kaiser, do you have anything on that piece?
I wholeheartedly agree with what both of y'all have said, that we need to.
I make a motion, we approve that one.
Is there a
I'll second
second?
it.
Any other, Ms. Willis has got the second.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
That's okay, Peggy, go ahead.
That's all
Any
right.
other questions, comments, concerns, discussion? All those in favor,
There you
please
go.
say aye.
Aye.
As well, so I'm doing math as we do
Thank you, Mr.
this.
Chair. I made a spreadsheet here. I'm gonna track it as we go. We've
Okay,
got
good. I'm stretching it from,
559,085.
that's what I've got too, so, all right. And if are you all in agreement with how I'm trying to do this?
Yes,
All right.
that's all right.
So the next one I would like to talk about before we go any further would be the truck shop request on the mini excavator. I don't have,
Well, I think as many times as I have to call them to do road work, and I'm sure you had to call them a lot in your district with flooding, I just think that's something that we need up there, because we've got a lot of roads that needs attention, especially during these flooding things and disasters that we've been having.
Are you talking about like a Bobcat?
Just a mini excavator.
we approved a backhoe.
Yeah, we got a new backhoe. We're working on a formal
But we
procurement
still
for
can't,
backhoe
we
and a
still can't
trailer.
use this unless they got 3 houses, right?
Correct. Nothing changes as far as the
I don't
criteria.
disagree with what Ms. Willis is saying, however, the backhoe, I think, could do a lot of,
Right,
I'm
it'd be
just not
nice to
sure I
have
want
this,
to do
but we
85
can-
yet.
We can do without it, but it'd be nice to have, but we can do without it. The new backhoe is gonna be huge.
Anybody?
This'll be your only opportunity to
They're getting 2
get
backhoes, 'cause
That's
he
true.
said,
Can we
know,
pass this one?
What?
My request would be let's pass this one,
Yeah,
and let's
I'm
get
good.
on down in some other requests and see where our votes are and where
I'll
we
make a
are.
motion, we buy the mini
Oh,
excavator.
you're gonna go ahead and make the motion, okay.
Well, and then
Oh, I thought you meant.
I wanted to pass it, and let's consider
back
some
to it if
other
you had
requests and
room.
come back to it.
Okay, I'm good with
Ms.
that, I'm
Wilson,
good
is that
with that, I
okay, or you want to
rescind
make a
my,
Fine
motion?
with me.
All right, let's
I'll
pass
rescind
that.
my motion.
Are we interested in the website and all that, or are we satisfied with the software we
I
just
think
done?
250 is
I'm
good.
tickled at
All right, let's
software.
pass on that.
What about the other one?
The
Okay,
IT
you're going in
backup.
dollar amounts.
I'm
Sorry.
trying, I'm
That's
trying
all
to
right.
want to hit some of the bigger ones, if you all just,
I was just thinking in order. Go ahead.
well, I'm I'm
You're
doing the
fine.
big ticket ones chronologically.
That's
So, I think the next big one will be the, body camera, request for the sheriff's office. What is?
How much is it?
Mr. Chair, before we get into the body cams, we have to have the 20,650, you know, you may miss the first part of that discussion.
No, you're right, I'm sorry, you're
I'm
right.
saying, if we do the body cams, we have to have the
You
20,650.
can't do one without the other.
Can't do one without the other. You have to
You
have
have to
that.
have the
so-
67,000.
And we've got that second alternative if we had to do a smaller amount on the body cams, so.
Are the floors open for discussion?
I'm good with both of them.
For the 30 or the 12? The 30 is 47,000, but the 12, he said 16, didn't he?
16, it's in here.
16,608 or something.
Write that down, 16,
So
608,
which
you got
one?
a good memory, so.
Oh, I had it wrote down.
But what's that bring us up to?
So you're saying if you do the 47, you have to do what?
We have to have the back room.
So it'd be
the servers.
67, well, whatever, well, I'll ask Larry to count it up here. If we're gonna do it, the full request would be 68,000 and change.
Right.
Yeah.
If you done the partial request, you would be, what, 40-some thousand?
37. real quick.
37,000.
Which one's
And
that
Mr.
for?
Elkins, you said the partial request would give you 10,
Give you 12.
give you 12.
And you still have your current ones that you can,
Are there any type of grant funding, any kind of grant funding you can apply? Or even, and that to maybe try to get the rest of these if we go with the 12?
There are body-worn camera grants that are available, and there's a 50% match. We looked at doing one of those grants.
Which
and
one we talking about? What number we on, Josh?
We are on 6 and
those
7.
grants specifically
6 and 7.
using
So how much you
ARPA
talking about
funds.
giving them?
68,000.
we use casino funds or something for the match. or-
Yeah, 68,000.
Yeah.
What
You
about the
couldn't use
15?
ARPA?
Don't
Okay.
need
Unless they
that.
don't let you use federal
No.
funds.
Well, like Ron said a minute ago on the excavator, it's kind of one of them things, which I understand this dialogue about the grants, but it ain't necessarily do or die, but it is a good opportunity. I mean, I would vote, if anybody made a motion, I would vote either way. I'm gonna vote for all of them, or I'm gonna vote for half of them, I don't know.
Well, let's consider the 12 and then consider the rest of that towards casino money.
Or do you wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve 16,608 for body cams for 12 and the 20,650 for the on-site server.
Is there a second?
Well, I'll second it, and that comes to how much money?
And those are the correct figures, the state?
37,258. Yes.
Those are
Those
pretty
figures are the
accurate
correct ones?
figures.
Yes, he has, he got quotes on these just as recent as yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Do we have a motion?
I
Is
made
it-
the
are we-
motion.
is everybody
this is
clear
on
on the
which
motion?
item, 6 and 7?
6
Yeah.
and 7.
Is everybody clear on the motion?
Yeah.
We have a second now. Any other discussion?
Be careful.
All
No.
those in favor of doing 12 body cams as well as the server software equipment and technology that supports that? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye as well, Madam Clerk.
If, Mr. Kendrick, if you get the additional on up to the 30, which would be an additional 18, would they be able to use that server?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The
It'll work
server
anything.
is required even if we don't get any body cams.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Because we're asking for funding for some new vehicles in our ARPA law enforcement equipment grant. If we put a new camera in those, it won't work with the server we have right now.
Oh, okay.
Larry, that brings me to 520 something?
Yeah, 521, 827.
521. So our balance is
Thank you.
521, 827, just to keep in mind as we're going down the list. All right, next would be the PSA request of 75,000. I keep in the back of my mind the fact that we'd already appropriated 125 toward this. I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. However, I would like to see that fixed permanently down there. I'm inclined to vote yes.
I am
I'm
too.
not sure why.
You don't want no more penalties.
Well, your same argument, which is valid to the town of Clintwood, I posed to the PSA because I got intimately familiar with this, unfortunately, because some good friends of mine operate the caboose there, and it was coming up right in front of them. Okay, and they have guests from out of state, and you see sewer coming in, so I come and got involved in it. And at that time, it was articulated to me that it's not the EPA, but the DEQ citation that PSA got, I mean, they got they were formally cited, would somehow open up all these funding doors and they could get loans and grants and all this, and none of that's happened. Then none of that's happened. So your same argument, which is valid and I agree with, to the town should be applied to the PSA as well. And
I would say you're right, except I hadn't heard that there's a lot of grant money available for.
Well, I know
sewer.
that, Mr. Martin, am I missing, wasn't that what was told to us?
That's what we were told.
Oh, it's
yes.
just,
Okay.
it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing.
You
We
know,
got
on
wrote
some of
up, but we're
those
gonna be able to get this and that and
I wasn't privy to that
They
information,
looked
so I'm not
at our
arguing that
DEQ
point.
thing after we did those repairs down there, which cost quite a bit to do.
I know they
those.
did, and I know it's old, and I know it's been a decades-long problem, and that's why I'm inclined to fund it,
Have you
regardless.
guys, well,
You
have
better
you guys
watch 'cause
applied
you're
for
gonna run
anything,
out of money
Shelby?
right fast. You do
Well, I know.
Have you guys applied for any money for this?
I'm sure they
I,
have.
you know,
Same
it's a valid
question.
question.
But I'm sure they have.
Same question.
Yeah, I agree, but I've never seen sewer that I recall, I'm not trying to deviate, I've never seen sewer in that southwest water, but I could be wrong on it. But then, well, PSA,
No, I don't think they do Southwest Water. I think if you
Yeah.
get that, you basically.
now how
have
did
to-
PSA get the money with the sewer done with Red Onion and stuff? Cause they were
They
involved,
took their severance.
what?
No,
Took
that
their
was
severance.
a,
That was a grant.
I'm trying to
That
remember who
was
it
a
was
grant,
through, but it was a
yeah.
grant funding.
That was grant funding on that
DEQ
sewer.
or something.
Vasita was part of that as
Vasita.
Rural
well.
development, I imagine.
Maybe been rural development, it's before my time, but.
Yeah, I think.
And that was their priority to get that done.
That's basically where we get our money from. If we borrow, it's for
All right,
rural
so
development.
the floor is continuing to be open on this for discussion and/or motions.
Oh, I know it's needed and I know sewer is never a profit. You don't make money on sewer, you make money on water, but not sewer.
Larry, one question, I'm sorry, Ms. Willis, and this may be a question for you.
Well, there's
How
a,
does this impact, does the flood stuff impact this at all? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So there's nothing to be concerned about there? Okay.
I don't think so. And also in our packet here, after, attached to his request, Ron has included a Virginia Department of Environment, Virginia DEQ, American Rescue Plan Act wastewater funds program application. It looks like where they have applied for funding of $1.9 million.
Is that pending?
On
It's a lot
this.
bigger than what they.
That's a $1.9 million.
It looks like it was submitted on December 8th,
And we're still
2022.
waiting on that, or?
The total cost of the budget, 1.9. It says, the total cost of replacement on the request itself is projected to be $1.8 million.
That's to replace that.
But it doesn't say
sewer down.
anything about the status of this grant.
They haven't heard though, that it's in December, right?
I don't know if you know anything, Ms. Willis, from the meetings or anything.
No, I don't think
Or
that
if we
we've
need to
heard from
contact somebody.
We
Becky.
may
Mr.
need
Chair,
to
on
contact
that.
them or.
Well, we better go
because
down
that
and see if
doesn't
I
sound
can do
right.
everything.
Well, do we have a motion on this?
I would like to make a motion that we fund them the 50,000.
The 50 or 75?
They're asking for 75.
Oh, the rest was that.
What's the
Well, I
motion?
would say we would be happy with 50 on that to help us if we were running short on money.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you what motion, you make whatever motion you wanna make. You making a motion?
That would put us up to 575.
And we only got
571.
7. Let's do 50 for, I'll ask 50 for PSA, and that way they'll get us a little bit more leeway for some other things that we're needing.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we move it to
Is
50,000.
there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Again, 471,827.
That's our balance.
Yes, sir.
4? I thought it was 571.
After that one,
For 50,000.
you just
so-
spent 50, so it's a
Well,
471.
I don't think we've got the money to do the 75 if we do some.
Okay,
more things for some other
scratch
people.
that one. Are we, let's take up the
Caney
the
Ridge.
911
Let's
request.
take up the,
Let's do this.
take up the Caney Ridge
All right,
to
go
make
ahead.
sure we have that.
You wanna make that motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we allot Caney Ridge Fire Department up to $75,000.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
396,827.
All right, can we bump back up to the
That's how much we got left?
Yes, ma'am, $396,827.
Almost $4,000 left then.
Let's bump back up to the 911 power supply amplifiers. I didn't get a whole lot of clarity on that myself. Do we want to maybe pass that
Because we
one?
don't understand it. I don't
Let's
understand it.
pass that one. That's my suggestion.
Well, I think it could be important, but I agree. Let's make
I
them
mean,
come
I'm not
back.
saying no, but let's pass it real
Yeah,
quick.
I know you're not.
All right.
I agree. We need more information on it.
Well, what I took by that is that they're licensed to get this much power wattage, and they're only being able to utilize
About
like,
2/3 of it,
about
so.
2/3 from like 150 watts. They're only utilizing 76.91.
Because the equipment's not. heavy
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
Is
And
that,
that will,
is that the
you know, we
understanding?
do need
They give
to,
you more
that
power
will
to
give
get-
them more reach out.
Yeah.
So, that's what yeah.
Since we're getting close,
Okay.
here's my suggestion, because let's take up the let's take up the town of Clintwood request now, because if, however that vote goes or
That's the way
doesn't
we
Well, I'm
go,
gonna make a
is gonna
motion, we,
influence the lot here.
I'm gonna make a motion, we fund them $150,000.
So we have a motion to fund the 150. Is there a second? I'm gonna second it.
I make a substitute motion
Go ahead.
that we, and I'm flexible on this, that we give them a lower
And I'm
amount.
not sure, and I'm not getting it, I'm gonna let you make it. I think once it's been seconded, you can't make a substitute motion.
You may be
But go
right.
ahead.
What
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say is we should incentivize them to do some work and get applying for that money out there.
Yeah, I do too. I think we need,
So
and
what's
I
your
will
motion?
stay on
So
that.
is the 150, does that,
Three
so
projects.
Those are important projects.
they are important projects.
They are. But what I'm trying to say is, I want them to go after that free money.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay on Danny's back to see.
And then he said they were saving their ARPA funds for something else.
No, they're putting it towards those projects is what I
Yeah, they're
understood.
putting it towards our
That's what I understood him
He
in
said,
saying,
but then they
used
were
it.
saving some, I thought he meant for something else.
Well, how do you guys feel? You wanna give the whole 150? I know you do, Rhonda. and
Yeah, I
John.
do.
Shelby?
I'm not saying I want to, I wanna see these projects done, particularly the
They're
Ridge.
they're important.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want
Then
to give them the
I'll rescind
money.
my substitute motion.
Okay.
I think Baker Ridge is high priority
Uh,
to being done.
I had no
Yeah.
idea there was 81 homes out through there.
And it's,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
a
a
big
Danny's
It's an important
It's a very-
project.
I had no clue.
But I am furious
People
because for
like to
3 or
live on
4
Baker
years, I've
Ridge.
asked them to get plugged in.
all right,
This goes back to Donald.
we have,
Yeah, we're
I'm
done,
on
we're
board
done.
with, it's,
Say aye.
me and you are on board a lot
Yeah.
more than we ever act like, but I agree with you
Yeah.
on
Y'all two
what you're
doing
saying.
good today.
All in favor, you do it, I'm sorry.
All right. No more discussion then. Do I need a roll call?
So,
No.
wait a minute now, you wasn't making a substitute motion?
He did
No, I
not make a
rescinded it.
substitute
You
motion.
can't make a substitute motion after it's seconded.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'll allow it anyway. Do you want to make one?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All those in favor of Ms. Sluss's motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
246,827.
Ain't this fun? I wish I had this much money to deal out.
I'm open to suggestions on what you all like to take
Well,
up
I think we need
next.
to get the health
We need to
wagon
get those
some
fire
money.
All
department
right, we'll
stuff.
go make your motion.
Well,
But we're gonna
How much
to
are you?
me, I think
We're gonna do the health wagon
the
now.
rescue squads would come before the health wagon.
All right,
myself.
which one do you want to take up?
Which
It doesn't
one?
matter to me.
What's left? Larry?
If you need the fire and rescue, we got
can't buy-
Clintwood's, bottles for their ladder
Let's
truck.
do that one. The models for the ladder truck. Any discussion?
9,865.60.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Uh,
Larry?
Aye.
236,961.
we need to,
We need to hit the Sandy Ridge.
Sandy
Yes,
Ridge,
yes.
All right, hit it.
there's nothing on here.
I make a motion that
There's Sandy
we,
Ridges on the paper.
Oh,
let me see exactly how it,
how much do they want? They want
Half.
60,
That's what I'm
60, 70,000.
Make sure it's not about 25,000.
They want six.
Larry,
Well, we
what
could
is their
reduce it
bottom
to
line on
5 tax, it would.
I'm looking here, they're asking for 62,900, and we've already given 11,000 that can go towards it. So,
No, they're
No,
asking.
that's for 73.
okay, I've already broke it down now. Okay,
11.
62.9 is what's remaining.
It's
So-
63, actually, you're
Yeah,
about to vote on
63.
63,000.
Well, could we reduce that to 5 packs?
You could reduce it to
He
5,
said they
and that
take
would
what they
be,
could. How much would that be?
let me see, 73,950.
Yeah, I'll
divided by
pay
2
something.
minus 11,000.
Oh, theirs ain't on that list, that's why.
25,975 is what it would take if you
Oh, I
done
think we
half.
ought to do that one then.
25,900.
25,975.
I make a motion that we give Sandy Ridge Fire Department that additional 20,
5,975.
Yes.
I'll second.
Wait,
Any other talk on that?
I wanted to go the
Go
full
ahead.
amount.
What, are you making a substitute motion?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or are you doing it?
Yeah, substitute motion, we go ahead and do the 62,000.
It'd be
Because I think we're wasting our
running out of
time.
money.
It's 62,950.
I empathize with them and I appreciate them. I sincerely do. But I can't fathom a scenario where they need 10 packs at one time.
They've still got some now and they can't apply for a grant.
Well, I'm
And
saying
that
they've got
covers that.
5 now and I understand.
So you want to do 5 now and a grant? I'll rescind my
To me, I
motion.
think that
I'll
makes the
rescind my
most sense.
motion.
And I
Let's
don't-
go with
and it's
what we're
not me
doing.
being against
Yeah, you're
them.
fine.
and
Y'all
this
get
is
late.
gonna be leverage with us doing this much for him to go back to Wise
Trying to
County.
get some.
So he
Yeah.
may still can
And he
get that
needs to
5.
apply for a grant.
They
All
may
right,
give you
so
5.
we have motion and second for the 25,975. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
210,986.
Yes, and we did one.
One
half.
other, we have town of Clinchco, or excuse me,
Now,
Clinchco.
we got 210,000, but we still was gonna try to consider that excavator, which is 80.
Well, that's where, but we need to,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I
Go
agree with
ahead.
Shelby, we need to go ahead with our rescue people. We
Okay.
have,
Did we vote out those recreation funds also?
no, but I
No,
wanna do, that's
we
a
have not
priority
yet,
for
But if you're
me.
still on fire and rescue, you've got the Clinchco
Clinchco, I
volunteer.
make a motion that we
I understand what you're talking
do the
about.
Clinchco
Where's that at?
Volunteer Fire Department.
I'll
one.
That's
second.
1,700.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I second that.
1783.56.
Which one is that?
Which one?
Which one was that?
It was
Nick?
Mr. Mullins's request for repairs to their engines,
It's the one on that list right below, Caney Ridge.
1,783.
I'll make a motion that we do the 434.93 for the
We haven't, we
Well, no, no, no,
haven't
no, no.
voted on
Okay.
that other one.
what?
We
We
gotta
haven't
do this
voted.
first. Let's,
Oh, which one?
let's take a deep breath. All right, so we have a motion and a second for the Clinchco Fire Department
Oh, I'm
engine
sorry.
repairs, 1,783. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
I thought-
Larry?
209,
Who made the
202.
All right.
motion, Mr.?
I'll
Miss-
make a
Mrs.
motion, we do the 434, it's not that
Kaiser?
much.
Hold on.
Wait just a minute.
Turn your
Who made
hearing aids
the
up,
motion
Ron.
for that?
Turn your hearing aids up.
I'm sorry, I can't.
I know, I
got
tell
them
you,
up,
see,
but-
I know
Make that motion, Peggy.
No,
Ms.
Ron
Kaiser
just
made the
a
motion, I made the second.
Okay.
All right, let's catch our breath. We
Teresa
have-
needed to know.
We have the balance of what now?
209, 202.
So with that in mind, we have, in my opinion, 2 significant appropriations
Did we not
left
do
to
the
consider. The
400?
first being the after hours and dental. The second being the recreation for our Little League and Highside Kiwanis. I suggest we do those 2 pieces and vote however we vote before we do anything else.
Which 2 pieces?
You're
The
Yeah.
health wagon
First.
pieces and the Kiwanis pieces.
So which one do you wanna start with?
Health wagon is my request.
Okay, I make a motion for the health wagon, we give half of it.
Half of which one?
The first one, the after hours. clinic.
37,500.
37.5.
I think that, and with that, we need to incentivize them to
Yeah.
get things, credentials.
Yeah,
So you're making that motion.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? I would just say, it's sort of like what you said a minute ago, it's just, we're making sausage, making the sausage sometimes ain't pretty. I'd like to give them the full amount.
I would too.
The last
man.
thing I ever want is that to not be available to our citizens. However, I understand what you're saying as
I want them
well.
to make it permanent.
We don't want
So
to,
anyway, we're gonna vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
and we want to keep
37.5.
that after
Larry?
hours clinic.
171, 702.
Okay,
Well,
what about the
I would-
dental piece?
I would say fund the dental.
fully?
I think so.
Do we really, I guess I'm wondering
we
what
can end up
the
enough
need
money
is.
to do the
I mean, I
rest
know
if we
there
do
is,
fund it.
and it'll definitely grow when you tell them this is free.
We have a motion? Sorry,
Said
Ron.
they'd have a hygienist
Make a
one day a
motion.
week and a
I'll
dentist
make a
once a
motion
month.
that we fund the dental service at 63.9.
I'll second it.
Any other talk, Mr. Peters, Ms. Kaiser?
I'm fine, because it is gonna be, it will be used,
The dental will be used.
yes.
So I want to make sure, and I don't care that this is being broadcast, but we need to make sure that we get this out in the press, please. That what we're bringing and doing here. So all those in favor of the dental, please signify by saying aye. Aye as well. Larry?
107,802.
I would ask we take up the request Mr. Yates made for Highside
We're gonna
Kiwanis.
have the money to do
I'll make a
that.
motion that we approve the 34,000, but I do wanna make it contingent on we set up a formal lease, an agreement
Well,
to
he said he
include
was
the
fine with that.
fairgrounds and the, you know, to include the electric bill stuff that you guys talked about.
We got a motion for the full request, Larry, which is what?
34,045.
And I'll second Mr. Peters' motion. How about that, y'all? I just second Ron's motion.
Aw,
I want this formally, I want this as a formal thing so it doesn't get
Read
lost.
in our book.
But it was
too, so-
contingent upon the
Yes.
lease, is that what your
Yes.
motion was? Okay. Mr. Yates, and then,
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Larry?
73,757.
I'd like to fund the Ridgeview Little League
Making
at
that
their
motion.
request of $3,000,
Yes.
which I don't think that's enough.
Well,
I'll
second
second it.
I would like to move it to 5. I know
all right,
that.
we'll do
All
it.
right, we'll do it.
Yeah,
I think that, with all the fields that they're keeping up.
Well, that's why I was curious if there was
And I think they've
enough.
been real conservative because they didn't think we'd fund it.
And you can tell those are good people there. I mean,
And
smart
those
people.
parents need to be commended for getting these children out to all these
That was my whole
practices
purpose
and
of asking
games
the
and
question.
everything. It's a lot on the parents.
So redo your motion.
I'm gonna redo my motion at 5,000 for.
I'll second it.
Ridgeview Little League.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well, Larry.
so that was 5,000.
68,757.
But we're gonna do the swing.
You've still got the swing down there, the special needs swing.
You gonna make that motion?
I'll make a motion that we buy the swing.
I'll second it.
Any
I'll
other
second it.
discussion?
All
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
What's that, ladies?
65,672.
Good. What can we go back?
I'm glad we passed that excavator.
So you're
How
down
much
to,
is-
Yeah.
Let's stop a second, Larry.
65,672 and 89
I mean,
cents.
you've worked this more than any of us, and I mean, what do we have left that you think is significant?
Is the most significant.
Well, looking at it, you've got that little cord left in there for Hayside steel.
That
What's
little
that?
one.
Oh, that
The
$434?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
did you not say that check was already cut, or is it not
I
cut,
thought-
or?
Which one
Oh,
now?
I tried to do.
The
Yeah, I would,
434.
I think
No.
we need to do
There's
the
another check from
434.
last time that
I
y'all
think we need
approved.
to do that 434.
I do too. That
Make a
was,
motion.
I tried earlier.
Let
I make a
Ron make
motion,
it.
we do the 434 for the Hayside
I'll
Road.
second. Go ahead.
Willis second.
No,
All those-
let's let Josh second that.
All
That's
those in
two in-
favor?
2 in 1 meeting.
All those
Can't
in
believe
favor,
it.
please say aye. Aye as well.
Aye.
65,237. One thing
I'll
that I
be-
would recommend is the 5,000 for the scholarship to entrepreneurship training for the IDA.
That's
one
what I
thing we
was
did.
hearing.
We did
That's
talk
great.
about that and doing it, but we couldn't do it at the time because we had a.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
It was the IDA
Item
request
10.
of 5,000.
$5,000 for scholarship entrepreneurial training.
Entrepreneur. That's
All those in
all.
favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
Hey, just a
60,237.
discussion point. We're at 60
We need to
what?
talk about the Kiwanis Club. what we're gonna do for them.
$60,237.
That
We
means,
voted for that.
We didn't vote for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What about that 10,000 for the second item, the network security system backup?
Well, that's what we passed.
Yeah, we passed on it.
Yeah,
And
we
I
need
tell
to
you
go
what,
back
there is just so much
didn't think we
security
passed the
issues
IT
anymore in
one.
places.
We did.
You know.
We didn't.
I think we need to go back and pass that one.
The security
Yeah.
number
yeah,
two.
number 2, let's,
I'll make a motion that we provide $10,000 to upgrade the network security backup system for our IT department here in the county.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
What about the,
$50,237.
what about the website update, online code?
That scholarship.
That was one of yours, Larry.
Teresa's
Right.
number 10 on there.
That's something we can look at, but I will say, we want to spend all the monies, but one thing I want to throw out here, we're still doing that tower work that y'all appropriated over, I want to say 111,000.
Do we
don't know what
want to
could
maybe
come up.
pause here and
Yeah, we may need
I know
to.
you want to close this out.
I do, but I don't know, we may have something come up.
My suggestion is we hold this what we
I
got
agree.
back here.
I agree.
How much is left?
$50,237.96,
Yeah,
because we've got that tower project
Thank
we're
you,
working
Larry,
on
that was
that
good.
Yeah.
that we may need some more
I
on.
mean, we're not gonna fund, okay, I understand.
So we
That leaves us
funded some to all of the fire and rescue.
All their requests were funded except for the mini pumper for Clintwood and the new engine for Hayside. Everything else was
Now,
funded.
here's the thing. I implore on you guys, when this casino money comes, we've got to start mapping out a plan to replace these trucks in the
We
fire
do, 'cause like you
department.
said, we got a need for 4 right now.
It's not gonna come to us
Do they
free.
anticipate every year you're gonna get how much money do you anticipate?
Well, right now it's around the 700,000 mark, but it's probably going to increase as they get the permanent constructed and things.
I
so-
do, and I'm not picking on Ron, I'm just saying, I do think though it would be really good to get together with them guys and try to get some kind of, figure out who Ron Kendrick's using and see if we can't get a unified billing system
I'll look into
and get
that.
aggressive with them on that. and-
I
and
think
we'll-
that would
potential
We'll
be.
help them.
I just learned about this from Terry before the meeting, you
I
know, 'cause
think
I didn't
that
realize
we
it
need
was a
to
big difference.
work through Mr. Barton and try to
And
find
that might give more teeth if the county's actually employing the,
the,
you know what I'm
Get everybody on the
saying?
same thing.
And I don't know the legalities of that, cause they're not really,
and then you
Really,
could
yeah.
distribute
Right.
back according to what come in.
well, anyway, that's,
But
I
I
really
think
need
we
to,
need to get a
I
hold
really
of
hope
this
you all might
billing.
get a hold of that.
I can look at it.
And I'll help as well, so.
Shelby, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, that's
I
why.
said, I think the county needs to get a hold on all this billing and do it in one place. Know what's coming back. We have no idea what's coming back to these, organizations for what they're billing. We don't know if they are pursuing it. We
Well,
don't know.
I got a suggestion. We had a pretty good idea, but it was never delivered to us. But, we asked them guys to give us their audits, and we never really got a lot of feedback.
Well, you're supposed to get feedback from the audits or they don't get their quarterly fundings.
It's time.
But
for
you
it to come
understand
in
what I'm
again.
saying? Remember, they had it, but we never really drilled down into the nuts and bolts of it. Because
They
They're
have
turning
that to
six
bring it
figures.
every so many years, every year, I believe.
It's time for them again right now. It's not every year. It's like every
Every
three-
other year, I believe
2
we
years or
ask
3
for
years. I'd have to
requests.
look, but they're due to come in again, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very pleased. This is not easy, my goodness, and there's more needs and wants than there is money, just like in your household budget, but,
Some things
I
you
don't know
don't
what
buy.
more we could do, personally, for our first responders and what we've done. Would I love to give Hayside the truck? I would, but there's just not, hopefully, maybe we could work with a financing company, and once we see, what this revenue stream from the casino is, we could maybe figure something out. And starting maybe early as July to try to make a purchase for that. I don't know, but I know they're probably not happy that we didn't approve that. I'm sure Robert, he's been advocating for this mini pumper, maybe isn't thrilled we didn't do that, but given how many different agencies we've had to support with this money,
Well, we didn't
I
have
don't know
the
how much
300.
fairer we could be with it.
Then the 300 you took.
I don't know what anybody else
Well,
thinks, but.
well, my thoughts is nothing to do with fair.
Well.
It has to do with prioritize
Needs.
what the county needs.
You can't give everything on there. You
No,
got-
you can't, but on the same token, we have to legitimately look at things and what is the real priority? You know,
But I mean, looking back, you're looking at serious infrastructure for sewer, water, first responders, internet.
I think we've covered a pretty good grant,
we
I
have.
mean, a
And
variety
a lot
of
of these
stuff today.
investments,
I feel great
I'm
about what
happy
we've
we
done
did
today.
a
take
lot of
care
these
of
investments are
ourselves.
not just
I'm very
wins.
grateful
These
for the
are,
software. It's gonna be a huge help. It'll be a process.
well, this stuff we've done with the truck shop's gonna keep us from spending
Us-
money
it will.
10 years from now,
It will, definitely.
or the next 10 years, hopefully. Well, I'm pleased.
And it would be something that we
I think
probably
we've done a
could
good
purchase out of our
work,
normal
good thing
budget.
today.
Right.
Everything's been good.
I think today's been very good. I think we,
Is there anything else?
No,
I
nothing
think we
else.
divide the money as equally as we possibly could today.
Y'all done a good job, and I apologize for not having lunch. I didn't think we'd take this long. We had something
Just
wrong.
moving forward, like Larry, how quickly,
You don't always
for
need to
instance,
feed
will
us.
like David Yates get a check for all that stuff? I mean, how do,
No, they, it's a spin down, isn't
oh,
it?
so they,
Yeah, they're spin down.
so are they aware of how that, we need to do all that, or?
I'll work it out with him because we'll
Okay.
work out this lease as well. Because Ron done it contingent upon the lease. We'll have to put something on the agenda for April for y'all to
Yeah,
approve the lease.
and I'm just
Work out.
looking for us to have it ironed out,
Good job, John.
similar to what McClure's is.
Well,
And you may have some different proposals for us on
We'll
that.
record
McClure's
next
will look at it,
week.
talk to Will, and see if we can.
Twice today.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Read in the minutes.
Yep,
Well, we really do agree on more than
Historical.
what we'd ever, admit.
accomplishment today.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Ron and,
And Josh
Josh
agreed.
agree on something and made motions with each other.
What's that?
Let's put that in the history book.
What's that?
They said you and I agreed on something and.
Yeah.
made
Yeah, yeah,
seconded
you
each
two
other.
haven't had a squabble match at one another
Don't jinx
today,
it.
that's pretty good.
I will tell you
We're not
though,
done
I am extremely, I'm very ecstatic that we took care of what the county needs.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative.
Yes.
And I'm very, concerned because of the fire truck thing, but I knew the money wasn't there. 'Cause
The
it
money's
fit
not there for the
And I
truck.
think, I think we need to get, and we don't have a better person to do it. I think with this revenue stream from the casino, and I know there's some unknowns, but we can
And
get
the
creative,
OB2.
maybe, in financing something for them, maybe. I don't
Well,
know.
and I will tell you that what I said about water is true. Like I did some research with where I had a house out in Williamsburg. Newport News, I looked at their water rates and they are self-sustaining because they're in a city. High population, it's next door, next door, next
Yeah,
door.
they don't have to
So
run
they can-
lines.
They're
Yeah,
not,
for
and they told me
miles.
they don't rely on anything from the.
Pumps and all that's so
They don't rely
expensive.
on anything from the county or anything. But the key thing that I noticed is there's a little
Keep that.
percentage, 4 different, depending on where you live, there was a percentage tacked onto their water bill that was used to fund the fire departments.
Well, or is there anything else, Mr. Martin, you think we need to address?
No, sir, I think we've covered it, so.
If not, if there's nothing else, we will take, adjourn, entertain a motion.
I make
to
a
adjourn.
motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well, we adjourn.
There you go.